What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Off Duty Sports Podcast, where two prior Air Force vets break down sports through the lens of discipline, leadership, and no BS life experience. I'm Upham. That's Danny. We're diving into dynasties, the comfort trap that kills them, and calling out delusion in sports and in life. Plus, fresh card pulls, NFL schedule talk, and current playoff chaos. Let's get to it. Danny, how you doing?
Doing great, doing great. A couple things happened this weekend. I got rid of Jar Jar Binks. I don't know if you could tell.
That's unfortunate. He's a staple to this podcast.
He is. He is. Unfortunately, he's taking up way too much room, and I now could move around a little bit.
So much room
it's so
for
much, yeah,
activity.
so much room. He was taking up too much space. I sold him to a guy. I bought him for $700. This is like during COVID times. And it was it was really cheap. And I resold him for 1750. I think is what I ended up getting for him.
Nice.
So I'm not too upset about it. You know what I mean? It was like one of those things, like a good deal. You know what I mean? Like, and he was in great condition. He was in great condition. And so, yeah, so I got rid of that. And then this weekend, obviously, it's Kirsten's birthday today. So we're going to be doing stuff with the kids. Saw Mandalorian, by the way, Mandalorian and Grogu this weekend, which I'm a big fan. A lot of people had a lot to complain about. I actually like watching it with my son was just like, because me and him were always like, when me and him, he was watching when he was like little guy and watching Grogu. There he is right there, by the way. He's in his
Yeah.
little pram. He loved it, and we both kind of fell in love with the whole concept of the two together. So it was a lot of fun. And definitely not the direction I thought it was gonna go, but it was a lot of fun. I don't without any spoilers or anything like that. I liked it a lot. For me and him, it was like really enjoyable. Kirsten, obviously, they all liked it. The girls liked it. So it was just a fun movie for like little kids. I think it was more of like it felt like more like a kid movie. So
I saw the Disney series, but beyond that, I didn't know. I don't have a lot of back knowledge about that whole series. So for me, it was just like watching a TV series and then kind of jumping off the bandwagon temporarily.
yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. But outside of that, I think that's it. I mean, I haven't gotten any great card pulls this week. Actually, I feel like my luck's just been so down. We're gonna see how if that luck changes. This today, obviously we do our card pulls. Actually, at the beginning of the episode normally, so we'll be doing that. Also, we hit 100 subscribers,
Which is
which is
fantastic.
for you.
Surprising.
Yes, continue. Sorry.
No, I am surprised. Again, coming into this not knowing just about anything about it. I lean on you heavily for your knowledge because this is something that you've done for a little bit.
Three
So for
years.
me, 100 subscribers is like okay, whatever. But like you were saying, that's a big deal. We've only done this for 4 episodes now, and 100 subscribers is fantastic.
Yes, for Twitch and stuff like that, it's not. Like for like you the translation between YouTube and Twitch and TikTok, that those things tend Twitch and TikTok you tend to get at a rapid pace. Like it's just like you'll get just follows just for no reason. You know what I mean? You're just gonna get follows. You know what I mean? People just follow your account with just knowing that you're have sports in it or something like that in TikTok. YouTube's algorithm is just so hard to get onto, and it is so difficult to even be like you see on my videos, I never post on there because I never get any traction. So like on my YouTube videos for like my ex-military man account, I don't post on there because it's like the idea of even just like seeing those numbers is just like disgusting to me. So I don't even want to like try to post anything out there because like it's it's like hopeless. You know what I mean? Like you don't. So I mean, obviously we gotta make shorts. We're gonna make little clips of our videos and stuff like that. We got to get into it at some point. Me and Upland both have a very busy schedule right now, so we're probably gonna have to hire somebody like eventually, or see if somebody's gonna be willing to do it because both me and him both just don't have the time. You're starting your brand new job. I'm working like 80 hours a week, still working 80 hours a week. And now that FIFA's starting, this whole month of June, I'm
Yeah.
already being told like they're already asking me, like I'm already working all next week. They're also asking me if I could work at the because I just got approved. I got my little, I have it right here actually. I just got approved for where's it at? I had it on here. Well, I got approved for getting the FIFA approved for watching, being able to like attend FIFA now for like security essentially. So doing K9. So I got like this little letter of approval or something like that. I thought was pretty cool. So we'll see how this next month goes, but we're gonna try to get something going. Get a little bit of help. We'll see.
It's going to be busy for you.
Yeah, yeah. But what about you? What about you? What'd you do this weekend, man? Or this week?
It's just it's chaos. The high school season, the sports season for my kids with softball and lacrosse is winding down. They have about another week left of games, and because of the early rainouts, they've had to schedule 2, 3, 4 games a week. And so after work, I'll jump on over there to see their games. And Olivia hit her second home run of the season, so she now leads the team with 2 home runs, and she was super pumped about that. They lost a close one, 11 to 12. Very, very competitive game, back and forth. It was fantastic. And then my son, they won 7-5 in their last lacrosse game. He had 4 goals, just absolutely smoking everybody out there. He's got a lot of size. They call him Little Gronk because he towers over
Dude,
people.
he is like double my size. I'm five
Yeah,
nine,
for an
but he
eighth
feels like he's like 7 foot.
Yeah, for an eighth grader, being like 6'3", 6'4",
He's
it's
taller than
still
you.
probably. Yeah, oh yeah, he's taller than me. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
and he's still got
crazy.
some time. Yeah, so out there you can imagine there's some little 8-year-olds or eighth graders who aren't quite half his size, so he's just pushing them around. I saw some kid try to hit him, bounce off of him, and then the kid got up and tried it again, and my son lowered his shoulder and just went right through him, and I was like, oh my god.
Should have recorded it.
I know, it would have been fantastic. But beyond the softball and the lacrosse, I did some card pulls. Nothing great this week so far. Again, we'll do some card pulls on stream here, and hopefully we get some decent pulls. But outside of that, just busy with work. Honestly,
You enjoying it?
so far there's a lot of information to take in. It's something new for me. The transition from the military is tough for anybody, and we'll talk about that a little bit today.
Yeah.
But the resiliency's there. The military builds it into you, and it's going to take some time to learn it at the end of the day. But team's great. It's exciting. I'm excited to be there. So looking forward to what the future holds there.
Yeah. Okay.
But, yeah, but I do want to jump into, like, we're gonna cover the NFL
Yeah.
schedule for our 2 teams. But before we jump into that, let's do our card pulls and see
All
if
right.
we can get lucky.
So I don't know what happened to my cards. I have to get, I'm having to use a different pack, unfortunately. But I mean, it's baseball still, so it's all in the same spirit, you know. So, but I did pick up some Bowmans, so you know,
What did you get, the prospect ones? The Bowman prospects? Yes, you did. Okay. I've been doing a lot of those, so hopefully you can get lucky with that.
I don't know, man. My luck's been so bad. I'm almost like afraid to even like let's see. All right, let me just highlight the so there's not going to be anybody that like I'm going to just go
Yeah,
straight to the
right there.
foil. Okay, we got a Kevin McGonigal,
He's good.
and let's
He's doing good
see,
this.
Parks Parks Harbor.
Who's it?
Parks Harbor.
I don't know that. Who that is? Is that numbered? No.
No. These aren't going to be numbered. And then I'm not even going to try to say that guy's name. Yojansel Herrera. Yojansel.
Yeah. Yep.
Ugh.
Yep.
And that's it. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. See, look at already not looking good. I'm almost tempted to open up another pack.
Hey, let's see how this one goes. We might have to go with 2.
Yeah, because this is like
All right.
that's nothing.
So I'm going with the top Chrome again, the update here. So let's see. I'll just go to any highlights. I've got an Eric Fetty, Chad Patrick, Merrill Kelly, Kipler. Nothing.
Let's do one more. That was just not I'm not feeling that one. Not filling that one up them.
Yeah, that one was all base cards for the pack. Nothing.
Dang it, man. Bowman's a good brand too. I love opening. Bowman's my favorite, one of my favorites to open. I think
I've done
Bowman.
pretty well with Bowman, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay. So a Juan Soto, but just not anything special. Here's oh my gosh, this is gonna be a really bad. This is gonna be a really bad thing. Uh, Gavin Keelan, Gavin Keelan.
Yep.
Which obviously, if it's top 100, I think that means it's like decent. Merrick Houston,
Okay.
Seaver King.
I don't know
I
that
don't know
one.
that guy. I don't recognize that guy's name at all. And that's it, man, dude. This is we're 0-2 right now, man. 0-2 right now. That
Let's
is
see how this
not good.
goes.
At least like, I want to get like at least a number card in this. Like that would be nice.
The same Merrill Kelly. So I pulled it twice. So we got Merrill Kelly, Chase Petty, rookie card.
Okay.
Yeah. Who's this? Duval.
Oh, there we go. That's something. I mean, it's not like, not the best, but I mean, power plays. I love the power players
It's a,
cards. I think they're beautiful. Kyle Tucker's that's a good pull. That's not bad.
yeah, that's not bad. Kyle Tucker's a very good
I mean,
player.
they're not the most expensive cards, but they're still really cool. I love those cards. They're I feel like they're very underrated, but it all comes down to what people want the most. I prefer those. I prefer those ones out of a lot of them, but I don't have very many of them, but I do like them. I think they're really cool.
Well, I feel bad for you because let's just open another one because your luck has been so bad. See if you can
The
get.
gambler addict is gonna sit there and always sit there and say yes so many
I
packs.
just keep
Let's
going.
keep on going. Let's just keep on going. Hold on. We're gonna get something here. I
Yeah,
want to get something, dude. I really like. I hope this isn't a dud, dude. I really hope. Okay, let's see. We got, dude. This is gonna be another dud, dude. Mookie Betts, which I'm happy with that. A Dodgers
yeah.
player. Um, Truitt, Madonna. I feel like I've heard that guy's name recently. Actually, Ethan Dorches. That's it. That is it,
Jeez. All
dude.
right, I'm doing.
I'm struggling with cards this week, dude. This
It's been
sucks.
bad. It's been bad.
Man.
So we have Guerrero, who's a rookie. Walker Bueller, old guy.
Oh, there we go. Waiver factors are normally worth a lot. Depending if it's a good player, it'll be worth like 10, 20 bucks, something like that. So you're already doing way above what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, decent player, rookie,
The waves
rookie
are
card,
better.
and then nothing, a base card there.
Oh, I want to.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm gonna keep. I just gotta keep on going. I want to get something. I need to get a number card. I need to get something. This is getting annoying. I mean, you don't have to open another one up. I'm not gonna make you open another one, but let me see. I want to know if this whole case is a dud because that's gonna be interesting to see, dude. No way, bro.
nothing again.
Gosh, no. Braden, okay, Benji, and Braden Montgomery. That's it.
Benji is new to the scene. Yeah.
Oh
All
my
right, I'm
gosh.
doing another. I'm gonna match
Yeah,
you.
all right,
I'm
all
gonna
right.
match
Yeah,
you.
let's do it. Let's do it. I have two more packs.
Dalton Rushing,
All right, I've heard of
Jock
Dalton Rushing.
Houston, nothing. Logan Henderson,
Wait, wait,
nothing.
wait, 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 wait. Is that sepia? Is that a sepia card? I think that's sepia. I think that's a decent card. Put that one aside for sure. I'm pretty sure that's a sepia card, or whatever it's called. Like,
Oh,
yeah, it's gonna be different. It's a that one's like a they're I don't know what you call that.
it's
Anybody?
like off color.
Yeah.
It's off.
It's sepia. It's the lens. They use a sepia lens. It's definitely it's something. I don't. It depends on the player though. I know it can go up in price. There's a sepia I pulled and I forget who the player was a while back. That one was worth like $40, something like that. And it was like I was like, yeah. It was odd. It was oddly high. Because it was like selling for an average of like um $20 to $40, something like that. And I was like, oh, that's not bad. So I'm
First I've pulled something like that, so that's interesting.
Yeah, if you get anything like that, because it's hard to tell which one, it's hard to even tell. All right, so we got oh my gosh, dude, a Colt Emerson, which that's kind of cool. I like that card.
I like Colt.
I might even be good with that one. Carlos Gutierrez, and then what's this one? Oh, here we go. What's this? George Quintana.
Yeah.
This is
Yep.
weird looking though. It's like a snake looking card. Look at this. It's like
Oh, I
a
like that. That's pretty cool. Yeah,
yeah.
I've got a couple of those because I've been pulling a lot of those.
From the
Like the
Bowman. Yeah,
Bowman pack.
That's a Bowman thing, I think. I don't know. I have one more pack left too. So
All right,
uh,
so got that one base.
is that another sepia?
Yeah, it is.
Are you kidding me, dude? I hate you right now. I hate you right now. It's so stupid. All right, I have one more pack. I'm over the last pack. I don't even care anymore. I'm tired of this. This is stupid. Stupid Bowman.
Two the same types of cards. I've never pulled one of them, so that's interesting.
Oh, Aaron Judge. There we go. I'm happy with that. There we go. Aaron Judge.
There you go. Oh yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I know that they're a little bit more common, but I'm happy with getting. I mean, that's a $20 card normally. Aaron Judge, Wilder, Dallas, Wilder, Dallas, and then a Tyler Bremner. That's it though. That's it for me. I mean, the best pull I got was an Aaron Judge.
I'm matching the last pack, so I'll open
All
another
right.
one.
Yeah, so that's my big pull right there.
The Judge looks good.
Yeah.
So I have this one base stuff. This one here. That one
Another
as well.
sepia. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, is it?
I'm pretty sure that's how they
Yeah.
sip you. You're like, oh, is it? How am I
Yeah, it
guessing
is.
this? No, I'm serious. Check those cards. One of those cards might be worth a lot of money. Like not a lot, but you know what I mean. More than the average one. So, like I said, I had one that I got, and it's worth more than normal. So, you know,
I don't know how I've gone. Oh, I've opened Topps Chrome for a while, and I've never seen one of these, and I just got three. So all three,
yeah, that's
very
so
similar.
weird. That's so weird. That's so odd.
That is interesting.
Maybe it's
One rookie
also
card.
maybe I don't know. You might have to check your stuff again because are you sure you were paying attention? That's the other thing.
That's true.
Like it's hard to
Good
tell
point.
because it doesn't look like it's anything special. But then once you go look at it again, I'm explaining it to you. I'm like, that's because they have I think a different one too. They have black and whites, the sepia. They have like I think three different types. I don't remember. You have to look through each and every one of them. That's like the whole point of this whole thing is like making sure that you're covering all bases and looking at all your stuff because like I was telling you even the background on some of these. I think it was the Topps Chrome for football. I think it was where the background will be the like you see how it's all faded out. It was like a team logo instead, and like it's so hard to tell that it's a team logo though. Sometimes like and people were just missing it. People are just missing it's like stupid things like that you have to look for that make the card more valuable. But you're talking about like a $20 card, not like anything crazy, crazy,
Yeah.
crazy high but just like it's worth instead of being worth $2, it's worth 20. It's like not too bad.
In all honesty, those $20 cards are perfect. I talked to a guy who went to three card shows over the past 2 weeks, and I was asking him, how'd you guys do? And he's like, I had all these big hitters, and at the end of the day, the best selling stuff is actually the $20 to $40 range. So he's like,
Okay.
that's perfect if you're trying to trade up or move
A lot
cards.
of product
For
too.
20 to
Yeah.
40, yeah, that's what you want. So perfect, yeah. All right, awesome. Luck wasn't great. We did get
No.
a couple of decent things,
I'm
like
happy with Aaron Judge. I'll take the Aaron Judge. That's
yeah,
I've never no, I don't think anybody's gonna be upset about that. So
no,
I
not at
think that's
all.
my first
But
pool.
let's jump into the NFL schedule. We'll start off with the Dallas Cowboys. We'll kind of go week by week just to see what our opinions are, what we end up thinking that the overall record is going to be. So I'll read off the games, and then you'll let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll go through my thoughts, and then I'll tally it up as we go.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, let's do that.
All right, let's see. So let's see here. All right, 2026 season for the Dallas Cowboys. Week 1 is against the New York Giants, at the New York Giants.
Oh my gosh. Well, I have a coin here, and I'm gonna do heads or
Good point.
tails. We're gonna do heads or tails because that's basically what it is. You know what I mean? Like heads or tails with the Dallas Cowboys. Like I never know who's gonna win. So heads for winning, tails for losing. No, let's do tails never fails. So let's do heads for or tails for winning. They're gonna win that one apparently.
Dallas is going to win? Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
do you have any
look.
reasoning behind
I
it?
mean, in reality, though, it's so hard for them to win. Like what's interesting? I want to say 2 years ago, maybe it's last year, they did really well on the road. They actually won like 5 games in like the only games they were winning. They were losing at Dallas Stadium, but they were winning on the road. I want to say, and I could be wrong on that. I have to double check that because I'm trying to remember if it was last year or the year before. But they were winning on the road a lot more than normal. And honestly, I wish I could give you more than that, but it's so weird with them because, like I said, they'll do really well with like bad teams, or they'll do really well. It's like it's honestly like flipping a coin. It's so hard. I'm gonna say I'm gonna actually go with the win for the Giants because they're just rivalries. I'm right. It's like they have to win against them. It's like they have no choice. And
Yeah.
on the road, if they do better on the road, they're more successful on the road. I'm gonna say we're gonna go with Dallas on that one. It's a really. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to be as unbiased as I can. Obviously, I'm wearing full Dallas attire today,
Yes,
so
you are.
because we're going over the schedule, I was like, we're gonna see what happens. We're just gonna see. So
Honestly, I agree with you. I think that week 1 is a win for Dallas. And the reasoning that I have for it is there's no injuries on the Dallas side coming into the season that we know of. With the Giants at the start, is Scadaboo coming back 100%? Is he going to be limited? Is he going to come back later on in the season? That's what I don't know. And he's a key part to the Giants
yeah,
offense. So honestly, I like
He
the
got hurt
situation
really bad
currently for
last year.
Dallas is.
He got hurt
Yeah,
really bad last year, and I think I have to
right,
agree with you on that. That's honestly, I thought that was gonna be. I mean, that was season ending. On top of that, it was like I don't know if he's gonna be 100% either. That's and he's a
right.
great player. I mean, obviously, he's like one of the biggest prospects out there right now. So no, I get that. That makes
What
sense.
version do we get of him? Is it going to be last year before the injury
I
version,
doubt
or
it.
is it going to be a little bit timid? And yeah, it's just hard to say. So I like Dallas coming into the game one. Second week, Dallas versus Washington. Dallas is home.
We do bad at home. We do so bad at like it's like it's so hard. Like I said, I want to say they're gonna win, but again, I don't know Washington this year, man. I'm trying to remember who's their running back for Washington right now. Who's their running back for Washington?
Um,
Wash.
I'm trying to think here.
Uh, it's gonna be Rashad White. Hmm. I don't know. I mean, I want to say, I want to say they're gonna win because they're at home. But that would make it that I don't know. Last year, like I said, I actually thought they did pretty decent. They just screwed up at the parts. They screwed up at the worst times. I feel like I'm hoping that maybe they get it together this year. And this is just with them, obviously, because they have a what Jaden Daniels as their QB.
Yep.
So and he's not like terrible. You know, he's
No.
not terrible at all. I man, I almost want to say they're gonna lose. It's like,
Hey, go with your gut.
I'm gonna
Hey,
say they're gonna
don't let
lose.
your lose.
I'm gonna say they're
Don't
gonna
let your
lose.
losing
I'm just
take
gonna say they're
over.
gonna lose. I have no faith in the Cowboys. I just like I'm gonna say they're gonna lose. All right, we're gonna say they're gonna lose at home just because they just do terrible. They are not good at home. They never have been. It's just one of those things. They just if they change this year, like again if they do really well, they play well. Like the hope side of me says they're gonna win, but the reality side of me says they're gonna lose. So I think they're gonna
Yeah,
lose against Washington.
I give you credit for thinking that way because honestly, a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans would just say, "Yeah, they're going to win
Like
every game this season." So, no, honestly, so I actually think that Dallas will win against Washington. Washington last year for me underperformed, so I think there's room to grow. You got a
yeah,
younger quarterback like you mentioned, Jaden Daniels. Do I think that it's going to be close? Yes, absolutely.
yeah.
I think Washington could win the game for sure, but I'm going to go with the more experienced Dallas team in this matchup
Okay,
for Week 2.
that's kind of you. Actually, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Someone's gotta go for them.
yeah. No, so Week 3 for Dallas, they're playing Baltimore at home. Baltimore is away, so Dallas at home
This
versus.
has to be like a curse for me. Like, are you kidding me? They're playing Baltimore. Oh my gosh, dude.
But hey, it's not at home. Actually, it says that it is played on a neutral location. So this could be one of those overseas games. I don't have it in front of me, but they're playing Baltimore at a neutral location.
So would they have Derrick Henry for their running back? Not Derrick
No,
Henry.
Derrick Henry. No.
No. Who do they have for the running back? Baltimore. Hold on. Sorry, I gotta just check the. Hold on one second. I'm gonna tell you right now. Okay, so they have.
Oh, they do have Derrick Henry. I thought.
Yeah. I was right. I was right.
I'm think, I was thinking of somebody else.
Lamar Jackson, though, dude. I don't know, man. He's. We are not good against QB running and QB being able to run. They're really good at like 2 point. Like they're good at like they're pretty decent at like stopping the run. They're pretty okay, and they're good at like keeping wide receivers at bay. But that third element with Lamar Jackson, I'm gonna say they're gonna lose. I'm gonna say they're
Okay.
gonna lose. Like I actually think this is like like my first instinct is they're gonna lose against and Baltimore's a good team, man. They're not a bad team. They're not. And like I said, on the good end is if Dallas can actually do well and not just get deterred by like a point lead, because I feel like every time they're losing, they could never recover. They don't ever recover from that. Ever. Doesn't matter what like so I don't know. Lamar Jackson just being that third element of being a runner, that's just not a good sign. Not a good sign ever. So
Yeah. No, so I actually agree with you. I think Baltimore in any location, I think this is going to be a last run for the Baltimore team as it currently stands with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. They're getting older. Their capabilities are getting
Well, Derrick
a
Henry's
little bit
old.
more.
He's getting old. He's got to be up there. I'm how
He's,
old is he?
he's still a beast and he can still
Yeah,
produce. And Lamar
yeah,
Jackson is not running as much, but like you said, Dallas struggles against the running type quarterback. So I personally think, regardless of location,
yeah.
Baltimore is going to make a deep run into the playoffs this year, and I like them in this game. So I'm going to say Dallas will lose week 3.
Okay. I hate saying that. It's so
Uh,
weird going against your own team. I feel so bad.
it's fine. At least be realistic
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. I'm being realistic. I'm trying to be.
Week 4, they're playing in Houston.
Okay.
Now, Houston made it to the playoffs last year, did very well.
Yeah, but you know what? They play really well, but they never get anywhere. It's hard to say with Houston because, like, I mean, I get it. Who's their? That's that's CJ Stroud, I think, right? CJ Stroud's their
Uh,
QB.
who was it? Yeah, CJ Stroud. He struggled in the playoffs, I believe, last
Yeah,
year.
I mean, like, I mean, I don't remember when they oh, who was their previous QB. I feel like they had a better chance of their previous QB. What's his name? He was versatile too as well. But I don't know, man. I don't see them doing really well. I mean, they have who's their tight end either as well. Like their wide receiver. I can't think of
Uh,
any good wide receiver. I think other than
Dalton
Nico
Schultz.
Collins.
Dalton Schultz is their tight end.
Okay, and Nico Collins is their main their number one wide receiver. I don't know, man. David Montgomery's pretty decent. The running back. I mean, there's not a big name here, and that's where I'm like, I don't really see them doing that well. I think they have a good chance against the Texans personally, um, but you know, that's me. I'm gonna say they're gonna win against Houston. So 2
Okay.
losses, 2 wins for me already. So, and I think that's pretty fair given their last year's schedule.
Yeah, so Houston is a tricky one for me because I saw what they were capable of last year, and it
Yeah.
wasn't so much on the offensive side that worries me. The defensive side.
The
Can they
defensive side,
replicate?
yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. Can they replicate that defense that they had last year? And if they can, I think they could beat Dallas. But I think there's going to be some regression. I know it's a young, defensive core. I think Stroud will kind of progress and get better, but it's this is a toss up for me.
You're saying it could go either way, basically.
Yeah, it could go either way, but I'm gonna say Dallas will win this game here.
Okay, I think that's fair.
All right, week 5. This is gonna be against Tampa Bay, and Dallas is at home.
I let me think. They have Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's pretty good, I think. I think he's pretty decent.
Yep, it's getting older.
Yeah. Yeah. They have Godwin too. Uh Bucky Irving. That's a pretty solid already, just right there. And with Baker Mayfield getting older, I mean, he's going to get better. I mean, generally QBs don't get. I'm not going to say get worse, but they tend to get a little bit more knowledgeable on how they play, more precise. Um, and this is at home. They have to win at home, man. I mean, I'm going to put a little bit of faith in Dallas this year. I'm gonna just lean towards. Man, that's hard because those are 3 good players. I'm not going to give it to Tampa. I'm not a big fan of Tampa in general. I'm gonna go with Dallas this time.
All right. I also will go with Dallas. I think that Tampa lost Mike Evans, who
Yeah.
was a good complementary piece to Chris Godwin. Godwin seems to be injured all the time
Yeah.
at this point. I'm not a huge fan of Bucky Irving. I know he's a decent running back,
He
but
is.
this is really going to be on what Baker Mayfield can do. And I just don't like everything that they have in terms of talent. So, depth, talent, I think I'm going to give to Dallas. So, I'm going to give week 5 to Dallas.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh, yeah, yeah. Week 6 against Green Bay in Green Bay.
Oh, I feel like that's one of the hardest places to go to. I don't know if you ever seen if you ever been to their stadium, but they're so the support they get just with like the way like just the audience alone is going to be so distracting. I'm gonna say Green Bay is gonna win. That I mean, you have Jordan Love. Jordan Love's brand new, but I mean, he's pretty good starting off right now. He's doing pretty decent. I feel like Green Bay is gonna win, especially at home. Green Bay is like so tough to beat at home, man. That's one of the hardest teams to beat at home. I'm gonna give this to Green Bay. I think this is I hate saying that to you again. It just feels like a stab in my heart every time I say it. But I don't know, man. They I think they're gonna win. That's an up and coming team. I think is gonna do really well. It might not be this year, but I do want to give it to them. Like they did pretty decent last year, so I just feel like this is gonna be a good team.
I love Green Bay. I loved them last year. I know Jordan Love got injured. I
Yeah,
love Jordan Love. I know he's newer to a team like as a
yeah,
starter, but he's an older quarterback. He's tenured. They have Josh Jacobs, who seems to be a consistent running back
yeah.
back there. They've got a decent wide receiving core with Jalen Reed, Christian Watson. They were good. I know they lost Dobbs, but they got Matthew Golden, who is a couple years in now, so he should be producing. Um, I like Green Bay. So despite everything, I'm going with Green Bay on this
I
one
agree
as
with you.
well.
Yeah, that one's a
It's
oh
just I think overall, top to bottom, they're just a better team.
agreed.
Um, week 7 at Philadelphia,
Oh, at Philly.
at Philly.
Oh man, they did really good last year. They did really good last year. However, I'm going to say that Dallas does seem to play a little better against their what would you call rival teams. I just think that they're going to win. I think that Eagles are going to win.
You
Yeah,
think the Eagles are going to win?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you got what Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts. You know, they did they got pretty far in the playoffs last year. They got way further than we did. Um,
Well,
so
everybody
I
gets
mean,
way further than you
yeah,
guys.
that's true. No, I'm trying to remember what last year's. I mean, do they still have AJ Brown? Yeah, I mean that's the other question. Do they still have AJ Brown?
That's a good question.
If they
That's a
have,
good
I
question.
would say if they still have AJ Brown, they're going to win. If not, that's just having AJ Brown. I think is just a little unfair to any team. But if they have AJ Brown still, I'm going to say they're going to win. If they don't, I think that I think that's just such a key difference maker. Then they're going to lose if they don't. I think that's just going to be damaging to the whole entire team in general. So if they have that's going to be my take. So if they have AJ
Okay.
Brown still, I think that they'll win. If they don't, if he decides to go to another team, which I still think he hasn't picked a team yet, I'm pretty sure he's still on the
He's still in
Eagles.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, then
They're
he's
talking like they're talking like the first week of June that if the Patriots were to get him, that trade would happen in the first week.
you're not gonna get AJ. Just stop it. Just stop. It's not gonna happen. It's not. You're
Well,
not gonna get every good like another good play. If they would be, then they'd replicate what they did last year. That's gonna be so stupid. That's not gonna be fun. I hope they
we'll
don't
do
get.
an emergency podcast if they get AJ Brown.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, because then we have to redo this whole thing. But I'm gonna say if they have AJ Brown still, I think they're gonna lose. I think when you have Saquon Barkley, when you have AJ Brown, even Devonta Smith, I mean he's decent as well. I mean
Yeah.
that's another. I would say he's a even if AJ Brown loses, him being a number one wide receiver, I think that he could still maintain. I think he could maintain as a one number one wide receiver. Obviously, who they get as their secondary and third is going to really matter at that point. But I would say I don't think he's going to be AJ Brown numbers, obviously. But I think that he
Yeah.
could do good enough to be like the number one wide receiver for the team as being a deep threat, like what AJ Brown is. So I'm like I said, I just don't think that they're going to perform as having AJ Brown, and they're going to have to focus more on him because he's going to be the deep threat. He's going to be the one that they're going to want to throw to the most. If they don't have him, Devonta Smith isn't that player. He's not that guy. You know, he's good.
He's not.
He's good, but he's not good enough to
He's a
be
number
like,
two.
yeah, it's exactly my point. He's so like I said, with AJ Brown, they'll win. Without, they're gonna lose. That's gonna be my take.
I think without AJ Brown or with AJ Brown, Dallas loses to Philadelphia. To me, Philadelphia seems to always be like well-rounded offensively, defensively, all across the board. They always seem well lately. They always seem like they're going to make a deep run into the playoffs. So I have them as a legit threat to win the Super Bowl this coming year, and for that reason, I got to go with Philadelphia. Last year, Philadelphia really didn't use AJ Brown at the start of the season and the beginning of the season. It was very underwhelming numbers. He really didn't come into his own till towards the end.
Which I can agree with you on. Um, and I do see that, but you have to also understand too as well. If AJ Brown is getting double teamed, he's going to start. That's why he has other weapons. If
That's a good
AJ
point.
Brown isn't there, the focus is on everybody else. I'm sorry, I'm not double teaming. I'm not double teaming the secondary, wide receiver that's got put in the first position. No, like I could spread out my. You just need one good cornerback on Dallas, and Dallas has decent cornerbacks. They're not like terrible. Um, so but if you have to put two cornerbacks on one wide receiver, yeah, that like I think that great. Like, yeah, I could throw to every other person because you have two people on one person. Yeah, it makes perfect sense why they didn't get as many targets. I mean, yeah, it almost is like got cut in half from 2023 to 2024 in terms of targets for AJ Brown. But at the same time, if everybody's focused on one player, and that's when AJ Brown's coming into his own. If they're starting to figure out AJ Brown's a really good player, yeah, like that's gonna sit there and like nobody thought to sit there and triple team Megatron until freaking like you know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna that to me matters, and I think that's I don't know.
But
He
what about the
he
defense of
had over
Philadelphia is
a
really good.
thousand receiving yards last year and seven touchdowns last year. So,
Yeah,
and that's even with the lack of targets. So obviously he's a threat to anybody. Having 1,000 yards already, like that's a lot. That's a lot.
that fits well into the Patriot system.
God, you guys aren't kidding. You're not getting JJ Brown. You're not. Stop saying that. It's not gonna happen.
Oh, I want all my New Englanders to jump in on this with me because
They're
we
not.
we all know it's
No
happening.
one's. No
It's
one's.
inevitable.
No, you guys can't afford them. you guys,
Uh,
you guys want to just scrape the bottom of the barrel.
Whatever. We'll move on to week 8. Week 8 versus Arizona. Dallas being at home on this one.
At home against Arizona. Oh, let me see.
I'm surprised you're thinking about this one.
I don't really know anybody good. I'm trying to think of anybody. They don't really have. I would say Cowboys wins against Arizona. I'm gonna give it to. I'm
Yeah,
gonna give. I'm gonna give it to. I'm gonna give it to Cowboys. I'm gonna give it to Cowboys. I don't really. I can't think of anybody on their team that I
you
think is
got
gonna be.
Jacoby Brissett as the quarterback this year. Kyler Murray
I'm
moved
not
on.
that. I'm not that impressed with Jacoby Brissett.
They got one of the better young receivers in Marvin Harrison Jr.
I'm still. I mean, he's got to prove himself still too. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying that. Like I don't know. They're too
They got
young of a.
Michael Wilson
They're
as
too
well.
young of a
Remember Michael?
team. They're too young of a team. I think they're gonna. I think that Dallas has a lot more. Like they just been doing it for so much longer. You know what I mean? I would. I'm hoping that Dallas is gonna win that one. I think that could happen. I'm gonna say Dallas at home.
Okay.
Dallas. I'm gonna give it to Dallas.
So they got Trey McBride still over in Arizona, who's one of the best tight ends out there. I
Yeah,
don't love their running game. They have Wilson, who's a great deep threat. Um, Marvin Harrison Jr., who
Marvin
again
Harrison
is
Jr. is
another.
gonna be.
I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say
he's
he's really
good.
good, but I don't know.
I don't. I think Brissett offers a little bit more consistency that Kyler Murray didn't offer back there in Arizona for Arizona. I think the offense will be better, but I still think there's struggles on the defensive
This is
side of
this is
Arizona.
this is early on too as well. This is game 8. You said.
This is game 8. Yep.
I'm still gonna
You
give it. I'm
think
gonna give it to Dallas. I'm gonna give it to Dallas. I'm gonna give it to Dallas. It's still too early in the season. It's still that's like midway. I'm gonna give it to Dallas on that one. I gotta go with Dallas on that one.
I'm
Just
going Dallas as well. I think that Arizona might come out swinging early in their season because, again, it's a brand new team to me just because you have a new quarterback back there, so a different mentality.
yeah.
Um, I like what Arizona is trending towards, but I think the defensive side is a little bit of a unknown for me. So that's why I had to go with Dallas. I know that what I'm getting out of Dallas.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Dallas as well. That one's I think this is pretty easy for me. So,
All right. Week 9 at Indianapolis.
oh gosh, another place I hate. Like their stadium's crazy over there sometimes too as well. Um, I don't even know who's their QB for Indianapolis right now.
Daniel Jones. He had a MVP run early last year
I love Daniel
before he got
Jones.
injured.
Actually, I love Daniel Jones. I am a huge fan of Daniel Jones. I thought with what he had, he did so well last year. He was so much fun to watch. That's if he is still is he going to be the number one wide or number one QB? Is he starting this
Oh
year?
yeah. Yep.
I don't know. That was hard. I'm such a big fan of Daniel Jones right now, and a lot of people hate on him for some reason. And I don't know. I think they have if it's in Indianapolis, they're so big on like that legacy for and stuff like that. I don't know. I think Indianapolis is gonna win. I don't know. Daniel Jones is doing so good. I was so shocked at how he played last year. I actually thought they were gonna be Super Bowl contenders just based on how well they did last year. So I honestly had Indianapolis going for a lot higher last year. Um so I'm gonna go with Indianapolis on that one.
Okay. I I don't believe in Indianapolis. I don't believe in
Like
I
I don't
don't
believe
believe
in
in
them.
Daniel. I don't believe in
I
them.
that's
Daniel
and that's what
Jones.
everybody says too.
Yeah, Daniel Jones as a New York Giant was terrible. Was absolutely terrible. And granted, anybody who goes and is a quarterback for the
Okay,
Giants is terrible, except for Eli Manning.
I have to say this though. Are you being
Okay.
biased because you don't like New York?
What do you mean? No, this is Indianapolis I'm talking
You said
about.
he was in. You're saying that he was a QB for the Giants. Is what you're saying?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I'm not being
I feel.
biased. The record speaks.
I was gonna
The
say.
record speaks for itself. Go look at Daniel Jones's record
Yeah,
in
but
the in a Giants
you could say
uniform.
that. You could say that about Matthew Stafford in Detroit. You could say that. You know what I mean? Like when he moved from Detroit.
That's a good point.
I'm just saying. Like when you move, sometimes you have to move around. I mean, even what was not Hurts, but when was it not Jalen Hurts? It was it Jalen Hurts when he got hurt. Who stepped in and they won a Super Bowl that year.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of his
I
name
can't
right
think of
now.
his name either, but
Is it Kolb or Cobb?
I don't remember. I don't remember now.
Yeah.
But he stepped in and they won a Super Bowl that year. You know what I mean? I will say it does matter where you put your player. I'm higher on Daniel Jones just because him going to Indianapolis, him actually doing what he's able to do with Indianapolis, which again, you have to understand too as well. They have to make sure they're also supporting him, getting a good offensive line, upgrading their defense, making sure that they can actually keep up with him because they're going to have the same situation they had with Andrew Luck, where he's going to retire early because he's just getting hit all the time. And you know, that's going to be the biggest part of this whole thing. So, I mean, if I actually I'm so many people root for his downfall. I am actually going to sit there and say I'm going to go for with Daniel Jones on this one. I just really really want him to do well for some reason because he's like an
It was such
underdog.
a
He's such like an
it was
underdog, dude.
it was a Cinderella story last
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
That thing has turned into a pumpkin at this point. It's back to normal. Danny Jones is coming back from an injury. I don't believe in Daniel Jones at all. I don't think Indianapolis is great.
No, they're
I
not. They're
I
not.
think
Yeah.
I think they're an average team. Could they win the game? Sure. I mean, anybody against Dallas could win a
Yes,
game,
that's true. That is true.
but at the end of the day, I like Dallas better. So I'm giving Dallas the win on this one. Um, week 10 against San Francisco, and Dallas is home this week.
They're home.
They are. We're in November.
I don't like. They have for the running back it's Christian McCaffrey. He's a
Mhm.
beast. He's still a really good player. I think he's getting older too, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
um, he's still really good though. He still puts up numbers. Um,
You got Brock Purdy. Mike Evans went over there as well.
oh well, Mike Evans is. I mean, who is he? 35.
He's older. I don't know if he's 35, but he is definitely older. But he's probably their number one at this point. First of all,
Well, he's their deep threat.
Richard Cole.
I mean, he's probably their number one in terms of deep threat. But I mean, like, he's getting old, man. He's up there in age, dude. He's got to be up there in age. Let me actually. I kind of want to look this up because let me look this up real quick because
So you still have George Kittle. You
Kittle's
you
good.
have Christian
Oh
Kirk.
Kittle, that's right, dude. I don't know.
Rich, Ricky Percival, Mike Evans. The defense was good last year. McCaffrey, obviously, if he's still healthy
All right.
this week,
He's 32 years old.
yeah,
He's our like
he's-
deep threat named person that is going to be like everybody has to worry about. But I don't think he's putting up this. I don't see him putting up those kind of numbers still. But um, I remember picking him up like 10 years ago when he was, like in fantasy when he was brand new. It's
yeah.
weird to sit there and see his name still around. um, I don't know. Kittle's really good too. Kittle's really
He was
good.
injured a lot of last
He
season, so
was.
it's tough.
He was. I mean, if they could stay healthy, if Mike Evans can stay healthy, if Kittle could stay healthy, I mean, like, you know what I mean, with his age, with Mike Evans getting up there, what Brock Purdy, you said, I mean, Brock Purdy's really good QB. I just they have a lot of injury prone players. If they can stay healthy, I think they can beat Dallas because Dallas lost a lot last year. They lost to stupid teams. They lost, and that's they're going to be playing against a decent offensive core. Dallas' defense is okay. There's not terrible. I think they're ranked like what 13th or 14th last year. I want to say. Um, and I gotta give it to 49ers.
You're gonna give it to the
I'm
49ers?
being realistic here because in reality, right now, um, you know, we didn't do good last year. I don't even think we made the playoffs last year. So yeah, no, I mean like Dallas hasn't if the picks they did this year, I'm hoping really change things. And if they do if they did make a difference, then yeah, I can sit there and say that Dallas will do better. We're gonna have to see the beginning of the season how well I would say the first 5 games, first 4 or 5 games. I just feel like they're always scrambling to try to figure out their rhythm, and they do, and they're not the type of team that can figure that out by week 8 because by that time they've already lost so many games. They're trying to play catch up. They do really well mid season, but it's like it's too late by that point because you've already lost like so many games already. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to say 49ers just because in reality they just have always a slow start and they're always just yeah, I'm gonna have to give the 49ers.
So I'm also going to give it to the 49ers, but like the caveat I will say is it really is dependent on injuries. Mike
Yeah.
Evans seems to always be injuring McCaffrey. Every other year
Yep.
he's injured for long stints of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, especially
But
him.
these are big pieces that we're
Yeah.
talking about. So if obviously if they're down a couple of these pieces midway through the season, I would say Dallas has a chance of winning. But I like overall what the 49ers are, and I think that they are going to win this game as
I
well.
agree. I agree.
Week 11 against Tennessee, and Dallas is at home on this one.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Dallas beat the Titans, but
Okay.
I'm just gonna just based on that. Yeah, I'm gonna say Dallas.
You're really confident with that one. That was the quickest one that
Yeah,
you've.
I'm not a big fan of all the people they have. Not saying that. I mean, Cam Ward's okay. You know, their running back Tony Pollard. I mean, he's all right. I mean, there's nobody that's like that. I'm like wowed by Calvin Ridley. I don't know. I think Dallas could beat. I don't think Titans are really that much of a threat. Not like they used to be. I'm gonna go with Dallas on this one. That was my
I'm also
easiest.
going with the Dallas.
That was
Same reasons. I don't think Tennessee is all that great. I know they could always have an upset here and there.
yeah.
I just don't. I don't really think Cam Ward is all that great. Serviceable, but I don't like their key players or skilled players on
No.
that team. So week 12 on a short week. This is the Thanksgiving game. Dallas versus Philadelphia. Dallas is home on this one.
They're home. Philly's just such a hard team to beat. I had them beating Philly before, right? What did I have? Did I have them beating Philly before?
No, you had them losing to Philadelphia in week 7.
I'm gonna say we're gonna give it to Dallas, and here's why.
You split. Okay.
Here's why. I think hopefully by that point, again towards the end of the season, they're gonna figure out their rhythm. They're gonna want to beat. I mean, that's one of the most watched games I think of the season. Especially, they always play rival team. It's always gonna be either Giants or Philly or Yeah, I mean, so I think that Dallas is going to beat Philly, just because I'm hoping they find their rhythm. I'm hoping, you know what I mean. Like I just feel like they start to play better towards the mid season or middle of the season. So I mean, this is a little past that point. So I think I think that they could beat Philly the second half. I just don't think in the first game. There's no way. There's no way. I'm saying like there's 60% chance that Dallas is going to win Philly that week. So
Okay.
60% is not that good. By the way, that's not good at all.
No, I'm going Philadelphia for the season
Okay.
sweep of
Okay.
Dallas. I think that honestly, I think Philadelphia, like
I
I'm
agree.
high on them. I think they're one of the better teams out there, well rounded, and I think in in the spotlight
I agree with what you're
game,
saying in
they're
that
right.
sense. I agree with you, but I'm gonna have a little bit of hope there because that I don't
Okay,
I
you
don't
went
I don't think I have that many wins for Dallas as it is. So I just think that end of season I think they'll do a little better.
okay. All right. Week 13 at Seattle.
I'm not even okay. We're just gonna pretend like we're just Seattle. Obviously, I mean Seattle's just really good right now. I'm not even gonna sit there and pretend there's no debate about this. Seattle's a really good team. Seattle's gonna beat them. It's gonna be a pathetic watch. I'm not even gonna watch that game. So I'm not even gonna try to argue for the sake of arguing. There's no. It's Seattle.
Yeah,
It's
I went.
stupid
I'm
question.
going with Seattle as well.
It's like,
I'm going Seattle as well. No argument from me on that one. Um, week 14 is their bye week, so we're going to skip on over to week 15. This is going to be in Los Angeles against the Rams.
Rams, man. Rams is a good team too. Stafford, I love Stafford, man. And he's another one that I'm like I have like a love for because he was on such a crappy team for so long. And it's like one of those QBs you want to do well. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
and they do really well, because he's good at throwing. He's like he reminds me of like, man, who's a good example of who he kind of reminds me of. There's a player that I thought of the other day that he reminds me of. He's just a good
is it
QB,
Tom,
man.
is it Tom Brady?
No, not Tom Brady. No,
I,
Tom
you're talking
Brady's
about a gunslinger. You want like a Brett Favre out there, except he's more accurate. I mean, early in his career, Stafford threw a ton of interceptions. Brett Favre has always thrown a ton of interceptions, but he was always the gunslinger.
yeah. He's a really man. I hate with with that Puka Nakua. I don't know, dude. Rams are just so stacked right now. I'm gonna have to go Rams. I hate saying that too, because like they can't lose that many times. But I'm gonna say Rams is gonna win. I'm gonna say Rams is gonna beat them. They're just they have a hard schedule, man. This is a hard schedule. This is a
Yeah,
really hard schedule for Cowboys, and they have to really show up. Again, this is gonna matter in the beginning of the season. If they could actually like perform on the crappy teams as well as the good teams, but I'm gonna have to go Rams. I just don't see this being a. They have just so many Devontae Adams, Puka Nakua, like I don't know. I'm gonna go.
I'm going Rams as well. I think Rams are
I
one of the
hate that
better
we're
teams
agreeing
out
with each other. I don't like agreeing with you on these. It's so terrible.
I like the Rams, honestly, top to bottom. They're very similar to Seattle.
Damn it, dude.
Philadelphia. They could make a deep run and win the Super Bowl. They did well last year, so I'm going with the Rams to win that one. Um,
Man, I hate
week
saying that.
16. Let's go with Dallas versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Dallas is at home. Jaguars were another Cinderella team last year, did very well. Trevor Lawrence kind of broke out of his shell and actually started excelling.
I'm not giving into that hype. I think he got so much hype in the beginning of when he first came in, and he didn't perform up until last year. I don't I'm not saying that they're a bad team. I think they have the ability to do it, but Jacoby Myers are really, they have Jacoby Myers now. I think he came from, I think it was Raiders, maybe he was on Raiders for a bit. I could be wrong. Um,
Jacoby Myers started with the Patriots. Yeah, he went to the Raiders after that.
yeah. With Jacoby Myers, it might help out a little bit, but this is his first year on Jacksonville Jaguars, I think. So I don't think they're gonna have like a ton of like. I'm gonna say they're not gonna do as well. I think that Cowboys can beat. Trevor Lawrence. I just have no faith in him, and he might get better with age. You know what I mean? He might get better with age. I don't see them replicating that. There's a lot of teams that have breakout years, and the very next year they did terrible. Matter of fact, the one year that Detroit did really well when they had the best offensive line, I think that they rated like the number one offensive line when they had Calvin Johnson, and they couldn't pull it off. You know what I mean? I just don't see Trevor Lawrence doing as well this year. So I'm gonna go against that. I'm gonna say Cowboys have to win a game. There's no way they're gonna go 5 games in a row and lose against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't think Jaguars are gonna do that well this year. I just don't think they're going to.
Yeah, so Jacksonville for me is very similar to Indianapolis. Like I talked about Indianapolis, the quarterback quality is similar to me. I know Trevor Lawrence was hyped up as he came into the league, but personally, I'm not a big fan of Jacksonville. I don't think they're as good as they performed last year. So I have Dallas winning a close one over Jacksonville in this game.
Yeah.
It's towards the end of the season. They're going to need to win games because, like you said, they have a lot of losses early and throughout the season. So I think that this is a game that it's going to be a must win for them. So I
Yeah.
have Dallas winning week 16 against Jacksonville. Next game is week 17 against the Giants. And this is in Dallas.
I think they'll beat the Giants. I'm not gonna really debate on that one. I think they'll beat the Giants towards the end of the year. They've got to get a couple wins in. I think they'll beat the Giants towards the end of the
Yep.
year. So
I have the same thing. I think these are all going to be must wins towards the end of the season for the Giants. The schedule kind of lightens up. It's been very difficult throughout the season, but the last few games, I think, favor Dallas.
yeah.
So
Okay.
I also have the Giants. And then the final game is week 18 against the Washington Commanders.
Again. Oof. You know,
So they play.
I'll give the upset to Cowboys again. I think because again, I think they'll probably make wild card, which is what they do like every year, or they'll beat, they'll get the last few games in. I think that they can beat the Commanders at the end of the year because again, everybody has to stay healthy. You know, Dallas, I will say this, they are not as injury prone as every other team. Like they normally keep their star players throughout the entire season. So I think during that time, I think it'll be fine. I think the Cowboys will win over the Commanders at the end of the year.
So you had gone with Dallas losing to
Yep.
the Commanders in
Early
week
on,
two.
oh, 100%. 100%. I think they're going to lose.
So I had
It,
Dallas beating the Commanders in week two. And I actually am going the opposite direction in the last game. I think that Dallas will lose because the Washington Commanders team, I think, is going to need to win as well
okay.
towards the end of the season. So I'm going to go. We're both going to have splits for the
Okay.
season series. But I'm going with week 18 to the Commanders, which gives us, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have the Cowboys going 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What's this? 8 and 10.
Yeah, that sounds about right, actually. I actually think that's probably extremely accurate. They're not going to win that much, dude. I'm telling you right now, it is going to be something like that. I actually think that it's going to be like they're going to lose majority of the of their games. I think 8 and 10 is a very in the middle amount.
Yeah,
I think that's
I,
extremely fair.
I have them going 9 and 9, so not far off from
No,
you.
no, actually, I think both of those are. I actually think that that's not. If we were betting people, I think that I wonder we should have Yawa put in cards for us to see if we can actually like put in our thing and see how well we do and see if we can get a decent amount. Like, I don't know, man. I actually think that that's a very very nice number. Um, for Cowboys, giving them a little bit more of an edge this year, but obviously we know what the Cowboys are capable of, so um, we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I think mediocrity is kind of where Dallas kind of sits right on that line. They can definitely perform, but they won't always perform. So the 9 and 9 seems
Well,
appropriate.
last year they went 7-9 and they tied once. So
Oh, did
we're
they? Okay.
not that far off. That's like literally that tie can either go either, which I'm not doing a tie this year. I actually don't think they're gonna I'm hoping they don't tie this year. But 7-9-1 is what they went last year, 2025, I believe. So 7-9-1. So I mean that one can go towards my, the 8-9 or whatever, or you know what I mean, or the 9-9 or whatever. But I think that's a very nice number right there for both of us. So
Okay. Well, that concludes the Dallas schedule. I think we'll do the New England schedule next
that's
week
fine. That's
because it
fine.
does
That's
take a
fine.
bit of time, and I want to give some thorough thought into it. So it does take a little bit longer,
Hey, you never
but I
know.
think
Patriots might pick up AJ Brown within the week. If they
that's
do,
true.
I'm like gonna
So
be like, this is stupid. This is like, there's not point. There's no point in watching the games anymore. That's gonna be so
it
dumb if you
changes
guys do.
everything at that point.
Oh my
No, but
gosh.
we'll do the Patriots the next week.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were very similar with the Dallas
Yeah, we're
picks. So we
really
had
not
some
that far off.
disagreements, but overall the record was very similar.
Yeah.
But let's jump into segment two. This segment is like the comfort trap, and is it real? So there's some questions here that kind of hints towards different levels of comforts, and does it affect people in their lives and careers? Um, first one being staying in a job you hate just for the pay. So you're in a job and the economy is what it is. You know what it is and it entails. It pays, let's just say, 100K. Um, I know in Dallas that goes a long way, but in a lot of other places, maybe not so
Yeah.
much. So you make 100K there, but you know that on the other side, to do something that you love may only make 65,000, which again is not bad, especially to do something that you love. What are your thoughts on staying in a position that pays you more to do it, even though you hate it?
I mean, overall, I look at your role as a um as a father, as a husband, all that stuff. You have a responsibility to your family first. It doesn't matter if you like your job or not. Like, to me, it doesn't matter. Following your dreams, I think, is a really dumb thing to do. Like, I mean, obviously, if you're good at what you do, and yeah, you might hate your job or you hate the location that you're at, but at the same time, it's your job to provide. So personally, as a personal level, I think that, yeah, if you make $120,000 a year, $100,000 a year, especially in Dallas, that goes a lot. Like you said, it goes a long way. I mean, even now, I make really good money now, and it's a single family income. You know what I mean? Like, we're able to survive really well off of that. But I love my job, so it's a little different. Like, it's a little different. It is hard to come from that mentality. But I've been in jobs too as well, which I've hated. So you know what I mean, and but still doing the same thing. It really just depends on how your outlook on life is too as well. So I mean, to me, it has to do more with your attitude. Has to do more with what you're doing it for. If your attitude, if I'm doing it for my family, then obviously, like, I, it's a no brainer. I don't care what, like, I'm only there for, at the job for however long, and then I'm back home again. So I'm like, other than like lately, you know what I mean? If I hated my job, yeah, it's gonna kind of suck, but it's like my responsibilities of my family. So it doesn't really matter to me. It's that kind of priority. That's a priority to me in terms of, like, I don't really care. It's, nothing's really gonna, unless you're dealing with like dead bodies every day or something like that. You didn't even like, I don't know. I think that would be probably a little harder, but it's like, I don't know. I like, I think that, it matters if you have a good job that pays well and you don't like it. You just keep on doing it because you're doing it not just for yourself, you're doing it unselfishly for your family. So that's
Yeah,
my take on it.
honestly, I have the exact same mentality. I will do whatever it takes
Yeah.
to provide for my family. If it's something that I hate doing, I'm going to suffer through it and make it happen. That's just how I am. That's how I'm built. I know not everyone is built that way.
Mhm.
Obviously, if I can find a position that allows me to enjoy, maybe not the entirety of the position, but even parts of it,
Yeah.
I can look forward to those parts of the position and still be able to support the family. Obviously, everybody's goals should be doing something that you love and enjoy, and you enjoy going to work every single day, and you're still able to provide for your family. The reality of it is it doesn't happen for everybody.
No.
You're very fortunate if you are able to find something that you enjoy doing and showing up for work every single day that pays well.
Yeah.
I think once you get to a certain point in life, where there's a level of comfort, your kids may be grown, then kind of falling into a position that you enjoy more because you don't need as much money because the kids are grown and they're on doing their own thing. That responsibility level goes down, so it allows you to kind of fall into something that you enjoy more. But I think based on both of our situations right now with younger kids, it makes sense to we're going to do what it takes to be successful and to allow our families to live a life that we deem as allowable for them.
Yeah.
So no, I agree with you.
That's good. That's good. I like that. That was a good question.
Yep.
Um,
So did you want to add
no,
anything
no, no.
else on that one? Or
No, yeah, we go on the next one.
okay. Do you have it up, or do you want me to?
I, uh, I do have it up.
Okay.
I actually like, I'm going to have you go through this one because normally I
Yeah.
feel like I talk way too much.
Yeah. No, okay. So friends, this one's about friend groups. We all kind of fall into this. We start off in high school. We have our core group of people that we've hung out with. at some point we transition to college or into a workforce of some sort, and those friends stick around for a while. Some people a lot longer than others, but eventually, a lot of times people grow out of those friendship groups.
Mhm.
Now, if you're somebody or a group of people that have stuck together for a long period of time, but they have a different mentality, a different motivation than you do. Maybe they're single and not starting a family. The priorities are different than yours. Can friend groups limit your growth? And how do you approach that?
I think yes and no. I mean, because there's certain friends I have that have been around that I've had friends that I've been friends with for a long time that like in my past, like I keep in contact with. Obviously, I don't hang out with them. And then our friends here, we have one core. We're I keep a very closer, I'd say, group of friends now. Obviously, like I communicate with you, especially a lot more now. And my buddy Luke and Aaron, or Aaron is his wife. We kind of just keep with them mostly. You know what I mean? And that's kind of who our core group is. We really I don't extend it too much because I think me and Luke are on the same page with a lot of stuff as well. We're both like we're very um family oriented, very, you know what I mean? Like we try to do things together as often as we can. Obviously, when I'm doing a busy schedule like I have been, it's a little different. But they're the family that we have that's like the family away from family, if that makes sense, that we just spend the most time with as in general. So obviously if you guys were here, it'd be a little different too as well, you know what I mean? Because obviously the family and you would enjoy you guys too. But you guys live halfway around the world. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, you guys live far. You guys live like 30 hours away, it's a little
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be easier if like Nito and you guys lived in Dallas. That'd be awesome. You know what I mean? But I mean, like it's not possible. 5 times, yeah.
That's episode
Well, I
five.
mean, it would make it easier. You know what I mean? Like I think because he has a house still in San Antonio. You know what I mean? Like he still has a house out here. I just don't think he's ever gonna leave. His wife makes way too much money. His daughter is making similar money. You know what I mean? Like like doing what they do. I just don't see them moving anytime soon. I don't see you guys moving away from the East Coast, away from your family. It's the first time you guys have each other all together in one area, which is insane. And I don't see that happening. So I mean, but like I said, Luke and Aaron have been like he's been like a brother to me. I think overall it's nice having a group of family, but I have dropped friends because I feel like they don't bring anything to my life, nor to and I think it's for me now, I think it's really easy to figure those people out. I think that as I've gotten older and a little wiser, um, cutting off certain people has been not, I wouldn't say easy, but just necessary for my growth and for my overall well being. So, yeah, that's kind of how I see it. But what about you?
Yeah, so for me, there's so many iterations. Like I joined the military after college, so you had your friend groups in high school, and I still communicate, and I'm really good friends with a couple of
Yeah.
individuals that I knew in high school. My buddy Jeff Perrin, he would check up on me. I'd come over and visit him while visiting, New England when I was back. So I'd spend some time there. So there are such things as lifelong friends,
Yes.
but I think you hit the nail on the head where you're going to surround yourself with people that kind of emulate the things that you're looking for out of yourself.
Yeah.
Some people don't allow you to grow. Some people are stuck in the past, and that's fine. There are single people out there, or even married individuals that live a life that's completely different and prioritize things completely different than how I prioritize
Yeah.
things. So at the end of the day, what I look for is, are they a family individual? Are they going to put their family first? Are they a good person? Can I trust them? Do they have similar interests that I do? And if you have all of these things, and then you're a hard worker, you have some of
Yeah.
those core values that I kind of look for. Yeah, I'll
We'll
keep
keep
you
you
around
around.
in my group, keep you around. But no, ultimately, I think that a lot of people kind of get stuck, sticking around or keeping friends around that kind of drag them and restrict them from their own growth.
Yeah.
And once you realize it, you kind of look back and you're like, oh yeah, I can see that person was, restricting me from my personal potential. Guys that want to go out late and I need to be up at 5 a.m. And now I'm going into work because I went out late with them because they convinced me. And now I'm not at my best the next day. Stuff like that. And again, things change, people change, and at the end of the day, we can either grow with it or just stay stuck in the past and not grow at all. But I think everyone's different, and that's perfectly fine. It's just I know what I'm looking for.
It is weird when you're transitioning in the military because you get like it sucks because you think you have these core friends each time you transition to different parts of the military, you go to a different job or something like that, but then you immediately lose those friends the second there's separation. So it is
Yeah.
hard. I feel like military, it's really easy to just kind of forget about those people. Like there's unfortunately like with there's only certain people I'd put time in for that were in the military that, obviously like stuff like that. There's and that's different for me in the sense that I'm willing to do stuff like that. But it is weird having really good friends and then like you immediately forget them the second you go somewhere else or something like it's just it is a very easy way to just cut it off. You just have to automatically attach yourself to somebody else. It's like it's just weird. It's odd to me. But yes, I think it's cool that I've been able to keep certain friendships like even throughout the military. But yes, it's
But it's
interesting.
interesting because in the military, every 4 to 6 years, you're transitioning to a different location. That's traditionally normal.
Yeah.
And again, you're leaving friends behind, and then you're going to a new location and you're readapting to the environment. You're picking up new friends with similar interests, and you're doing that job with them. So you're building relationships every single time, every 4 to 6 years. And you kind of learn when you move out of the military, and you've done this, you transition into your civilian lifestyle and you're used to learning new people, new positions every 4 to 6 years, so it's just normal. And it seems like you don't forget about the past people. You have a couple that stick around, like key individuals, but at the end of the day you don't forget about them. You're just transitioning, you're focused on that transition as you're moving into a different stage of your life. I just transitioned out of the Air Force, the first of this month, and going into a new position. There's a lot to learn, a lot of things that I have to kind of forget from the military just so I can adapt to the civilian side of things. And there's a couple people that I still connect with daily, on the military side, but it's two different worlds. You're talking military and civilian, and those things don't really cross paths in terms of similarities. The language that you speak in both positions are completely different.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that until I got into the civilian role, and just communicating back and forth, there's no similarity. I can't share a story with these individuals that they can you know
Well, you're
relate
like
to.
you're almost like a outcast almost because you don't really fit
Yeah.
in. And it's funny that you say that because me and Luke is prior army, so it's easy for me to kind of like share those stories and like have a connection with them because I seem to have better connections with prior military, which is unfortunate, but they really don't understand the stuff that you kind of go through in the military, so it's hard to like the same jokes. There's a lot of dark humor in military that a lot of people
Yeah.
don't understand, and like jokes that are just really inappropriate that like I would understand as opposed to like a civilian would understand and look at you like you're completely nuts. You know what I mean? So it is
Yeah.
interesting that it's easy for me to get along with someone like that's prior army or prior anybody prior military than it is like even just being with regiment too as well. All those guys are all prior military guys that are all in gaming. But it's easier to relate to them than it is to relate to anybody else because they're just not the same. They're just not. They're so different.
And I wonder, for any of our veteran listeners, or subscribers, if they have experienced something similar where they've transitioned out of the military, or even while in the military, do they connect better with other military or former military, or are they able to kind of translate and communicate well with civilians? I struggle with the same thing that you're talking about. Even while in the military, going to a gathering where there was civilians and some military, I seem to connect better with former military or current military individuals, just because we know what that looks like and we can communicate in a certain way that we completely understand. It's a completely different language,
It
and
is.
it's not something that I'm looking for, but I noticed it. My wife says the same thing. She's like, "You kind of really struggle with this. If they don't have any sports knowledge or military knowledge, I don't know what to talk to them about."
Especially for you, I can see that being like a huge. I generally could get away with it. Like I get along with anybody. Like for instance, there's a guy Bill I met. I told you about a few episodes back where I met him at the Disney cruise. Me and him got along so well. I mean, he even still messages me. We're both talk still. His family is wonderful. Like his daughter like loved Ethan. They were boyfriend and girlfriend apparently the whole time during the cruise ship. That it was cute. It was a little cute thing. But no, I mean, I got along with him really well. And certain people, like I said, there's going to be obviously exceptions to that rule. Me and him, like I said, we almost got a fight over like on the cruise ship. So like, it was a beautiful time, and but it's very rare to get certain people outside the military that you get along with so well as well. Like it doesn't happen very often. But I will say, in terms of like you were saying, there are the exceptions to the rule, but it's very rare and few in between. It's not, you know what I mean? Like it's not very often where you could kind of get someone, like even your family sometimes doesn't really get your mentality at all. Like it's just so different. You know what I mean? I don't know. It like, or even just your drive. They don't understand certain things about like why you do things the way you do. Like I watched this TikTok the other day where a guy was fast walking everywhere, and but he's prior military, so he's explained, and like everybody else doesn't know why he's fast walking everywhere, like why his wife doesn't understand it, but it's like I understand it because I do that all because we always have to be in a rush everywhere. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we fast walk because it's like a habit, not necessarily like we're doing it on purpose, but yeah, it's that's part of it. You know what I mean? Like it's just little things like that that I think are funny that we do that are just
I
kind of like
I personally struggle with individuals that are late or on time. Military trains and conditions you to be 15 minutes early. If you're 15 minutes early, you're still late. So,
yeah.
no, I am always early everywhere I go for the most part. There are still some, extenuating circumstances where, something held me up. But at the end of the day, more often than not, my kids know I'm going to be early for just about everything if I can
I
be.
used to get
Um,
so stressed out because Kirsten's completely opposite. She's like, I'm okay with being
yeah,
like 30 minutes late, and it
can't
stresses
do
me
it.
out. And like now I've learned to kind of like now that it's been like what I got out in 2014. Now it's already been 10 years. Obviously now I don't care as much anymore. It used to bother me being on time, and now I just got to a point where it's like, I have 3 kids, all of whom which are kind of have that my wife's mentality of like not being anywhere on time. So it's like and now it's like I don't care anymore. Now I'm like if I'm late, I'm late. I really don't care anymore. Now if it's work, it's different. I try to get there early to work. I'm there before
Yeah.
I could clock in. You know what I mean? Work is completely different because I like to be there early. I like to sit there and settle in, make sure like talk to the client or whatever, like do all that fun stuff. Um, Now, like I said, but everywhere else, like people's houses and stuff like that, I'm not trying to rush anywhere anymore. It's
So there's
so
hope for me to settle down a little bit.
yeah, I think so. It's gonna take you long. It took me like 8 years to really not feel stressed out about it. But yeah, I think it's gonna. I mean, if you just gotta let, I got to a point where I just didn't let it bother me anymore. It's just it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? Like the only people that have those kind of expectations are gonna be people that are prior military, anyways. And
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 aren't. It's not gonna matter, because most people
Well,
aren't gonna.
my question to any former military out there, is there something that the military trained or conditioned you to think or feel that you struggle to adapt to the civilian world with? If there is, you can obviously post out there. I'd love to talk about it just because this one, the time thing, showing up early, it was a big thing for me. And the friend thing, obviously, the way who you surround yourself, that's another big thing. But there's plenty of them out there. So I wonder what those other ones are.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's a good question. Like I said, it is. I've changed a lot in that sense. Um, but like I said, overall, if I'm by myself, it's completely different. I'm there early. If I have my family with me, I'm like, we're gonna get there when we get there. Like, that's just
It's a
like,
built-in excuse.
yeah,
Oh, the kid is, we're doing this. The wife was doing
yeah.
this.
So,
No, I completely get it. The next one I had was this is for the leaders out there. It could be a manager, supervisor, whatever it is. But we've seen different leaders over a period of time that kind of stick with what's worked for them in the past. And they've gone from maybe a senior airman, and that's like a lower level supervisor, staff sergeant, to a master sergeant. And they've never evolved as time has evolved or as their experience, with other leaders has, been trained or portrayed to them. So what do you say to, leaders who stop evolving and just kind of stick with the status quo of how they started? And there's nothing wrong with that. I just want to know what your perception of leaders who stop evolving is.
I mean, I think if you're starting from the bottom somewhere and you go through. So if me and you start off as A1Cs and we go through, together and we're seeing leadership making a lot of mistakes. We're all suffering through it. we're seeing them act really dumb or making really, really bad calls. And then you get into a position where you can at least stop it from happening, or even just like, hey, I'm not going to replicate that, but they end up doing that. That I feel like is one of the biggest issues in the military. I've knew a lot of guys that just would replicate or even come up with even worse ways to be terrible, which is like, you were just going through it with me, as a senior airman, or even just, like if I'm just put on senior airman and, that person is transitioning to just putting on staff sergeant, they just went through it with us with all the craziness that we went through with this, with these people. And then they don't
Yeah.
change their leaderships. Like they're like instead of like saying, I'm going to be different, they don't do that. They decide to just be just like them or even worse and become some little like, because a lot of people that put on staff put on all of a sudden they start to put on this whole different power trip of persona. And there's some people
Oh
I
yeah.
remember when we were in the middle, like going to Creech, even too, like that did that crap. It was like, it was so annoying, man. Like, it's like, I don't know. I thought it was annoying as heck. Uh, that you wouldn't sit there and grow. And who knows, maybe with time they would have. But it's not, it gets to a point where you have a lot of people in leadership positions just because they tested well doesn't mean that they're good leaders, and they get put in these leadership
Absolutely.
positions and they're terrible leaders. They're the worst that could possibly be there. So I don't know. I guess it's different for everybody.
You see it all the time. I mean, you're talking about fresh-faced individuals who graduated college that go into lieutenant, second lieutenant roles, and they went to college, but does that make them a leader?
Mm.
Because they're educated? Not necessarily. It means they're educated, yes, they may be knowledgeable about whatever subject they went to school for, but they didn't not necessarily they didn't specifically go to leadership school where you come in as a military individual who's on the enlisted side. You might not have as much education, but you may have been a captain on sports teams your entire life. That gives you some leadership knowledge over the educated people. So it's like, what do you value more? But I think I think a lot of leaders on the enlisted side get put into a position of leadership at a young age, so they're just learning out. They're going to make mistakes, and some of those leaders aren't exposed to what good leadership looks like. They may only have seen bad leaders, so they're going to replicate
Yeah.
those actions because that's the only type of leadership that they know. So I was very fortunate. I had Nito, again, mentioned him for the fifth episode now, who showed me what good leadership looks like. But I've also had bad leaders who kind of instilled in me what I don't want to emulate or I don't want to kind of replicate down the line. So having the good balance there allowed me to kind of pick and choose the pros, the cons, and then make my own style of leadership moving forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think I could say the same thing. I mean, like I said, I saw so many bad leaders, and I'm just like, I don't want to be anything like that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it definitely was harder to, you know, even getting out of the military and transitioning to a because I was an area supervisor for a security company as well for a while doing K9, and that was very hard for me learning how to deal with civilians too as well, transitioning out of the military, dealing with civilians, and then kind of dealing with that on top of that, and learning how to be a good leader in a different way because you're not dealing with someone that you're like. You show up, hey, be here at this time, and they're not even showing up. And they call you like 5 minutes before the shift. Oh, hey, I'm not going to be there today. It's like, wait, what? Like
Oh,
that was
completely
such a
different. Yep.
culture shock for me because I wasn't used to being told no. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, I'm not just gonna show up today. You're just like, oh, just sick. I'm sick right now. I'm like, you could have told me like 3 hours ago, 2 hours ago. You're just telling me
Yeah.
5 minutes before your shift starts, and then I have to show up for you. It's like, yeah, dude, oh man, it was bad. It was bad.
I haven't experienced this
Oh
to its
man,
full
dude.
effect yet. I
All I'm
know
gonna
it's coming
say
down the line.
All I'm gonna say is it requires a lot more patience. But yes, continue.
Oh,
Continue.
no. I completely agree. I'd be interested to see how people feel about the leadership styles and how they've evolved over time on the civilian side. Just because I don't have a lot of exposure to that civilian sector just yet. You obviously have more time since you've been out, so you have that exposure. But like you said, I think patience definitely plays into it more on the civilian side than the military because you have an expectation when in the military. You're going to show up because you're under contract to show up, and there's nothing you could say or do about that.
Yeah.
On the civilian side, it's kind of a little bit more free. You kind of do what you want to do. It feels like. I don't know. Um, the next segment being, well, actually, next question being, athletes and organizations living off past success, and this kind of goes with the evolving piece of it.
Yeah.
You have a lot of companies or organizations out there that have success over years of time, and they've done the same thing for the same amount, like this 10-year time frame, and they're not willing to change because of the past success. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, even tying in with work, I mean, and I'm not trying to bag on my work at all, but with we'll talk. Let me give, I guess, an example of sports first. With sports, I think certain teams, obviously, like similar like the Cowboys. I mean, Cowboys have been riding off their '90s wins for years and years and years now, and I mean, successfully they've been able to sit there and obviously stay afloat in terms of like how much they sell. Obviously, we went over that last week. I think you're quite shocked about their sales, and they're the number one franchise. They are. Like there's no doubt about it. They've been the number one franchise since I remember looking that stat up when I was like 15 years ago. It's been consistent. Like they've been like the number one franchise for years. And they've ridden off that success. And obviously, like letting Jerry Jones run the team, to the ground, that's been happening for years, and nothing's changed. And I think because he has such a huge oversight on the team, we're never going to be
Mhm.
successful. And like doing it his way has not been the best way. If anything, we've gotten worse as time has gone on, as he's gotten older. So, in sense of sports organizations living out, I mean, you could say the same thing with, with New York. New York's starting to fail a lot now too. New York's not doing as well. The Yankees aren't doing as
Sure.
good as they used to. I mean, don't get me wrong, they still have good play. No one's sitting there saying that they have bad players or anything like that, but they're not doing as good as like the Dodgers. The Dodgers are just stomping on everybody right now. You know what I mean?
But the Dodgers have adopted a whole new style
Yes,
of thinking.
correct.
So I like that. They're changing the game in the way you have to think about it. Like you said, they're not willing to adapt to the new style that
Well,
exists. And the Dodgers will continue to win.
if you watch Moneyball with Brad Pitt, that's a perfect example with the Oakland A's when they went over the whole thing with the Oakland A's and how they started changing on how fitting in statistics as opposed to like what they think is going to be good. You know what I mean? Or like based on like they use certain stats to sit there and put certain players in key players in these things. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think that again, when you start to try to do something different, you have more success when you do it. So I don't know,
It's not
man.
it's not it's not always going to work out. Like if you're an innovator and you try something new, you can't expect success every single time. You definitely
Yeah,
can't. But like you said, to kind of key on your point, the Patriots did the same thing. They lived off success that Belichick had for years, and he had continued to do the same thing year after year, and that was develop and buy players on the defensive side. And they never really developed an offense around Brady. The expectation was that Brady was still going to go out and do Brady things, but that only worked for so long, and
yeah.
it got to the point where we had to let Belichick go because it was very frustrating. You had all these years of success, but nothing ever adapted. And same with the Red Sox. They're very analytical. They're going off the money ball mentality. We're bringing in players that are supposed to be good and equate to wins, but we're not competing against the Dodgers ever. If we don't spend money as a big market team, you're not going to compete against the new mentality that it's out there with the
Which
Dodgers.
is crazy because you guys do have a lot of money. You guys have been running on success of like your wins, and Boston Red Sox are a big team. You know, what I mean, they're always going to be just a bigger team. It's kind of shocking that you guys don't kind of invest in your team more. It-
It's very frustrating. It is for as a Red Sox fan myself. I will speak for the whole Red Sox populist fan base out there. The most frustrating thing is to watch a team that has a ton of money, a loyal fan base, not invest in their own team and
yeah,
want them to be successful because the fans really dictate whether or not a team should or should not spend money because ultimately we're buying merchandise, we're showing up to games and paying ticket prices, whatever those are, even
yeah.
they're inflated. At the end of the day, owners should take that into consideration and really value what a fan base is saying out there, and they don't. The Red Sox organization has been, ignoring the Red Sox fan base for years now. We've been saying, why are you selling off all our best players? Why are we not getting new best players? And
I
we've
mean,
been terrible.
if it doesn't hurt merch sales and if it doesn't hurt ticket sales, then what does it matter? The only thing that's going to
Yeah,
actually change is if you guys stop supporting them and supporting, and which is unfortunate because like for me, I stopped buying. this is all Cowboys gear that I've had for years, but I stopped buying Cowboys. I just don't buy it anymore. This is stuff I've had for a long. I mean, I'm wearing a Parsons jersey right now. You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm like Micah Parsons. You know what I mean? Like it's not like I've been buying any current player and like you know what I mean? Like I'm not supporting the team. And this Cowboys hat I've had for years too. I've had this for like 10 years. You know what I mean? I'm not buying anything new. I'm not supporting because I don't like the one thing I will say about Jerry Jones. He's willing to put money into the team and buy players for absurd amounts of money, which is stupid as well as like I'm like at least like I'm not saying he's trying, but it's like I can somewhat at least they're not doing what like the Red Sox are doing. You know what I mean? Like they're not like just living off that success. And but I also think that in the same way, the Patriots I feel like are going to get to a point like that as well, where you guys got to start reinvesting into a new stadium. You guys should be ready. Like with the amount of wins you guys have, there should be no excuses why you guys don't have a new stadium or investing into it, like having plans for a new stadium to sit there and give your your fan base a better experience, more people to go to the stadium in, or more, just a bigger. I mean, there's probably not a lot of room, but I'm sure that there's something that you guys could do to figure out. If Cowboys could do it, you guys could definitely do it. There's no excuses, I feel like, at that point. But I just don't feel like I just don't feel like certain like you're the East Coast. I feel like you guys all run off of nostalgia for some reason. I think that people just hold on to this nostalgia side of things. You guys don't want to invest into the new stadium, which I get it. It's a huge investment, but I mean, you guys could hold more people. You guys could sit there and make the team more comfortable, make them feel more like winners. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. To me, it's like I
I do agree with you that there is some updating that can be done, but there's also the historic value to be had. Like with Fenway, you have the Green Monster. That's something that a lot of people can go for the true believers, or the
true
people
believer.
that love the
Okay,
game of baseball.
what about
Like the
Patriot
people
Stadium?
that love the game.
Oh, continue,
Oh, the Patriots
continue,
game. Yeah,
continue,
no,
continue. No,
I
no,
agree.
the people that love the game, what?
The people that love the game of baseball will go to Wrigley to see that stadium. They'll go to the Fenway because they want to see the Green Monster. They want to feel this is where all these excellent players have played for years. So there's certain, like Foxborough. I completely agree. I think that definitely needs an update, and they have enough wins that they could essentially do that. But if you take away, if I say there's only a one of one card out there, that makes that card more valuable. So if there's only so many seats, that makes those tickets more valuable. Am I wrong? Because
In a
there's only
way,
so many.
yes. At the same time, you know, I think in terms of baseball, I can understand it more. I understand it more for baseball than I do football. Baseball has so much more history than football does, in my opinion. Just in terms of just longevity, football is
Oh
fairly
yeah,
newer as well. I don't think that I think that now that football has kind of evolved in the sense of like it's changed so much from what it started off as to now. And baseball has essentially as well, but for the most part, baseball I think is it's this kind of a standardization for baseball. I think that you could get away with having Fenway Park there, but for football, no, I think that I've been to Stadium before. It's terrible stadium. You guys have a terrible stadium. It reminds me of Oakland A's stadium, which is like was completely outdated. They might have updated it now. I'm not sure. I know there was gonna be plans to make it better or tear something down. I don't remember exactly, but it's terrible stadium to go to. The Oakland A's. I like if you're holding on to something, it's littered with homeless people. It's like, you know what I mean? Like it is a disgusting stadium now. It's absolutely disgusting. It
it's
is
definitely.
the memorabilia of it is gone. You know what I mean? It's no more. You know what I mean? Like I don't go like I can understand it. Like you said, I can understand it more with baseball, but certain stadiums just like you guys just have to tear it down and get rid of it because it's like it is just falling apart basically at this point. And football I think is a lot different. I think you should like when the Vikings made their Viking ship stadium, dude,
Yeah,
going to that stadium gave me a whole different perspective. Like, and they're not even like big winners. You know what I mean? What they had Brett Favre at one point, which is who their biggest. You know what I mean? Like, who probably like is right, but it's like you have such a massive stadium, and it is so interesting as a fan. It's like, man, this is really cool. This is probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I've been to that stadium before. It's a beautiful stadium. You know what I mean? They invested in their team. They at least like now it's but they fill up that whole stadium now. You know what I mean? Like, and they can put more money into whatever they need to put their money into. I don't know, man. I think that there's a little part of that I think that, you know,
I'm not against it. I would love to see a renovated or updated stadium for football for sure. The Patriots, everyone has this huge draw now. Like I see Dallas Cowboys, their stadium is like state of the art. You have so many awesome draws to those stadiums, and they pull in so much money from all the different types of events that they do at each of these locations that doesn't really make sense why you wouldn't update it and make it more of a draw. I think, I think
I mean, even the
eventually they'll
Raiders
get to
did,
it, but
dude. Even the
I
Raiders did it. How could you like? That's insane to have the Raiders do that before the Patriots. That doesn't make any sense to me. You mean, don't get me wrong, Raiders merch sells like crazy too. But I mean, like for the Patriots to win 6 Super Bowl rings and and almost within a very short time period, and then them not
yeah.
up like them not invest. I just think it all comes down to, they don't need to. You guys have the fans no matter what. They'll fill up the stadium probably every single football game, and it doesn't matter to them. I don't know. I think it's an East Coast thing. I think it's an East Coast mentality. I just think it's a terrible mentality. Even like you got I think it's the Rams, or I don't remember if it's San Diego Rams. It's one of those teams. They're all sharing a stadium right now, but I want to say that they're building a new stadium out there in California for that for you know what I mean? Like other teams are doing that and making a huge investment on their team, which again, when you franchise tag certain players, things like that, they'll get more money, you know what I mean, if they could sit there and if they have the means to do it. You know what I mean? Teams will spend more money on players if they have the means. They're not going to do it if they don't have the means at all. You know what I mean? You got to do that with revenue though. You can't. I don't know. I don't know.
You hear
It's
that, Kraft? Kraft, you need to update the stadium. No, I'd love to see an updated stadium, and maybe we do in a couple years here, but nothing that I've heard of recently. But yeah, with that, we'll move on to the next segment, delusion check, for segment 4 here. Are you actually growing? Or are you staying busy? There's a lot of people that show up to work and they'll fill their time with just busy work. Um, and they're really not doing, no one's really doing, not, I don't want to say everybody, but there's a lot of people that just show up to show up because it's a job. But there's other people who are going to go out, further their education, kind of do their thing, and kind of grow, or search for different jobs that put them in a position to be more successful, something like that. What's your thoughts on that?
um. Well, I don't actually. I'm kind of curious what you think now that you're getting out of the military. I'm gonna go with I want to because I think my opinion is gonna be vastly different than yours. I want to know your opinion first because before I give my own.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think in the military, you're in a situation where you're almost forced to kind of grow. If you don't grow and you stay stagnant in the military, you won't progress. Yes, you can study and take a test that will get you promoted to a certain level. But at some point, the testing is no more. And it comes down to what are you doing to separate yourself from others in the same rank? So that means volunteerism, that means education, expanding and growing as a person, developing leadership styles, getting involved with different leadership groups. On the civilian side, from my limited knowledge so far, it seems like if you're not growing with the company and expanding your knowledge of what the company is looking for out of an employee to kind of push that company forward, then you're not really growing. It's very easy to kind of fall in this hole and say, "Hey, I'm going to spend the next 20 years in this position because I, semi enjoy it and I'm comfortable with this." Um, so there's not as much emphasis on the growth piece on the civilian side. Whereas in the military, if you want to make more money, you don't have these big annual increases like on the civilian side that you're going to get for just longevity. So you have to grow in the military. Whereas in the civilian side, it seems like you really can just stay stagnant and be comfortable there, and you're still going to make more money
Yeah,
based off of being there for 6 months or a year or whatever it is.
yeah. Well, I think with the military, I think the fabrication of what the military wants you to do, it's all fabricated. Most people don't want to sit there and donate their time to doing the things that they are doing, but they have to
100%.
do it because they're willing to play the game. And I don't think that if you're going to volunteer for something, you should ever do it because you're doing it to, I don't like how specifically the Air Force does it to where they make you do these things like volunteerism. Maybe with school, I'm not as big of a, but volunteering, I think, is one of the weirdest things ever. Like, you should do it because you want to volunteer for something you believe in, not because you're like, oh, in the back of my mind, if I do this, I'll get a 5 on my EPR And I don't even think that should be a standard. I think that if you're going to volunteer, you should volunteer for something, not do it for, you know, for your own personal reasons. You know what I mean? I just, I don't think you should do things like that personally. And don't get me wrong, that I think that you'd lose half, if not more. But I think that you already put a lot onto people's plates being in the military as it is, and you expect a lot from them. Matter of fact, you're there for on base for 3 years and you're with your family, and then all of a sudden you get told, oh, by the way, you have to go to Altus, Oklahoma. Yeah, I mean, like, it's not something that you know, I did all that volunteer work for to get better, but then I'm also gonna get put in a base that's basically in the middle of nowhere. It's like you're not rewarded for any of those things other than your rank and your pay. And but you'll get sent to a base that's like completely out in the middle of nowhere and then stuck there where it's like has the highest suicide rate. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't to me, I think it sets you up for huge, massive amounts of disappointment because you got very lucky. I would say you're not the norm in terms of what most people get away with. So you got away with a lot more, I think, than most people do. Because normally when you go to recruiters, a minimum of 3 years, and it's hard to stay in like 3 to 4 years or something dumb like that. I remember there was a requirement, a minimum that you had to meet for recruiting, and then you get put back into your security forces. You know what I mean? Or you get put back into your normal work thing. So if that hadn't happened, you could have gotten sent to middle of what is it called? New Mexico,
Okay.
Clovis, New Mexico. You know what I mean? Where it has the highest suicide rate in the Air Force. You know what I mean? Like, and all that work you did, all that volunteering, all the like little things that you did to going to a base where basically it's you don't there's hardly any growth, no volunteer work because there's not much around the whole base to volunteer for, and then you're stuck in the middle of nowhere. You're not that's how the Air Force rewards you, or the military can reward you. It's situations like that, and you put your whole heart and soul into this whole thing, and then all of a sudden you get put into something that you're not even want to be a part of. Your wife's going to hate you because now you're even further away from your family, which already, you know what I mean? You're like, I think on that sense of things, I don't think volunteering should ever be a factor. I think that you should, I don't know, it should be based off of like your work ethic and you know I would say maybe even just your studying, you know what I mean? Like if you study to try to do these things, that should just be more test oriented, not necessarily based on volunteer work. But that's just me. That's me. That's how I see it.
I agree. And one of the most frustrating things about the military, I'll kind of get into it a little bit, is the situational part of the military. So you could be a hard charger, somebody who wants to make chief or E9, but there's so much luck that goes into making E9. You can't go into recruiting as an E6 and go promote to an E7
Yeah.
unless you're extremely lucky and extremely successful. And in recruiting, it's very difficult to get put into a great location where recruiting is very easy.
Yeah.
Some of the locations that I was recruiting at were very, very difficult. So to stand out amongst your peers in a location that is already the deck is stacked against you. It's not impossible. I'm just saying in the military, there's so much luck, there's so much situational stuff that factors into your career as a whole. A bad supervisor can prevent you from promoting for years, and then that puts you behind every one of your peers that you'll see
Yeah.
promoting around you, and now you're stuck. Like you said, I have been very fortunate in my career. I spent 4 years in Germany. I got a chance to play European hockey with a bunch of buddies, and I only planned on doing 4 years and getting out of the military. But after that experience, I stayed in because of that experience. And then from there, I did deploy one time to Afghanistan, which again gave me the exposure. It was what I was looking for out of the military to give me that feeling like that I was doing something bigger than myself. But from there, I went over to Las Vegas to do police work. It was a non-deployable
Yeah.
location, so obviously great for the family, but very unique in terms of on the security forces side that you're non-deployable. So I spent the next six
Actually
years
deployed in place is actually the term for it.
deployed in place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm 10 years in, halfway through a 20-year career, deployed one time. Very lucky, especially in security forces, as you know very well, that is a career field you can deploy very frequently.
Yeah.
Uh, and then after 10 years, I get selected to go into recruiting, which again, non-deployable, and it gets me to a New England location. I got stationed in Western Massachusetts. Again,
Yeah.
so I'm in a position that's as close to a civilian position that you can get, which again is so unique in the Air Force. And I spent the next 10 years doing recruiting work in a New England type area. So extremely lucky, extremely fortunate on that side of things for my family. But in terms of promotions and where I would like to be, or would have liked to have been, situationally, not a great scenario for me. It didn't really work out for me as well as I would have liked. But everyone has their path, and it doesn't make it impossible. You could always promote in any situation. I don't want to say you can't, but it is more difficult for certain situations as opposed to others. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point. I do think that it's a little different, like I said, going to the civilian side of things too. So, and I do think that you can promote more on merit, which I prefer, just because I know
Yeah.
I'm a hard worker. And so it's not like, I'm not competing with very many people at that point because I'm competing at a different level than everybody else is. So, that's why I like doing what I do now. Because I don't really have anybody that's where I'm I don't feel like I have anybody where I'm at, but that's just me personally. Um, but uh, but yeah, no, I just think that's interesting. I did see that
Well,
we skip a lot? Did we skip a lot? Are we skipping over to this other stuff? 'Cause I see that we have a lot of other stuff like that we kind of missed too as well. Like with coaches and stuff like that. Are we skipping all that?
uh, where did I skip something?
Segment three, yeah. Teams that
Oh,
aging rosters. I don't know if you are we skipping all that?
well, we're going pretty. What are we at right now?
Hour 40.
I'm probably gonna
Okay.
have to skip
Yeah,
it.
that's fine. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Sorry. I wasn't trying to interrupt the flow, but I just wanted to make sure that, you didn't want to skip it or if you did it on accident or not.
Did it on accident, completely on accident.
That's fine.
I was conscious of the time a little bit, but at the same time,
Fair
we could
enough.
definitely hit that next week for sure.
That's fun.
Some other questions that I have, other ones. Are you holding on to an old version of yourself? For you specifically, this is a great question because you have a whole life in the military. You've transitioned to the civilian world. You've been there for 8 years now doing a position. Is there old things that you've kind of held on to as part of the military? Things that you like, don't like?
I feel like I'm a lot different than I was in the military. I've calmed down a lot. So, I mean, you know, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think I could always bring that out of me if I need to, but I don't. I guess I feel like I've really slowed down in a sense of like I don't let things bother me like I used to. And I don't
Yeah.
like I'm not as demanding as I probably used to be, you know what I mean, in terms of like what my expectations are. So I think I've changed a lot. I don't really think I'm holding on to too much from my past at all. I think, as time has gone on, I kind of grown a lot, and I've even talked to you about this, just things I've thought of, you know what I mean? Like over the years, things that you said, things that like, I remember you, like I said, we've talked about this before where you kind of pleaded with me one time or like, hey, this is what I wanted as friends, you know what I mean? And I've like, and I didn't understand at the time because, I'm stupid being young and dumb. And I didn't also experience things that you've experienced as well. The way you experience it, if that makes sense. Like there's certain things that you kind of got a taste of that I never did. So I'm just kind of thinking of myself at the time. But now that I've had kids and, now that I've been, out of the military and there's certain things that I do miss, you know what I mean? Obviously. But I don't think I'm holding on to too much. I think that it was a hard transition out, just trying to figure out who you're gonna be as a person. Because
Yeah.
you're gonna have to change completely. You're not unfortunately the same standards you have outside of like maybe just like being on time, things like that. That's a little different. You're gonna hold on to probably all that. But I think your standards of people are gonna have to change drastically. Like your standards for yourself, I just keep my standard of myself. I don't really expect anybody else to be at my level like at all. Like I don't there's no one that's going to match me realistically unless I'm like working with you or something like that. That's going to be like we're going to be competing with each other or something. It's like competitive wise no one competes with me. I don't know of anybody that's a better handler than me. I like and I'm not trying to talk trash or anything like that, but there's really not very many people I think that are better than me personally. And I'm not trying to say that to talk like trash about anybody in the company, but I just don't think there is anybody that's better than I am. There's not very
Yeah.
many people I think could out handle a dog than I can. And so it's I don't really compete with anybody. So it's like it's weird to be, where I'm at because I don't really no competition with me. So
I personally think that life is this big game. Once you figure out what the recipe to success looks like, you want to continue that success so you can continue to feel success wherever it is that you go.
yeah,
I think early on in my military career, I learned what success looks like in the military and what it took, the effort, the level, the education, like all that took to be successful. And I've been holding on to that mentality for so long. I think in Germany, I was very, very easygoing.
yeah,
Once I made it to Las Vegas, I had an idea of what success looked like, and it led to winning awards and
yeah,
being recognized as a hard worker and excelling in my positions, getting promoted. Once you start seeing things like that pay off, for me, it just ingrains in me, okay, I need to be this type of person if I want to see continued success.
yeah,
So I've held on to that for years. So I don't feel like I want to rock the boat. I'm almost in this level of comfort. I know what success looks like and I'm comfortable with that. It is a lot of hard work, but I don't want to rock that boat and alter it in any way with the fear that it will disrupt what success looks like and it could lead to failure.
yeah.
So I hold on to the old version of myself, and I'll continue to do it, and I might tweak it a little bit here and there because the civilian side is going to ask different things of me. Um, but outside, I'm not going to 180 it.
Yeah, no, I haven't 180'd it. I just build off of it, and I think you're just kinda learning kinda how to be a different essentially civilian. You know what I mean? There's still obviously the military side of me that I just can never get rid of. It's just, like, ingrained in
Yeah,
me. I just but I will say that growing off of that, becoming basically malleable because here's the problem with I think a lot of people transitioning out. A lot of guys can't figure it out. They either go back into the military. I know a lot of guys that like, especially in the Army and Marines, that have been kind of ingrained to be a certain way. That friends of mine that literally have gone back into the military because they don't know how to become malleable into the civilian world. And the things that, like I said, the jokes, the things that they go to, the experiences, they hold on to those things. They can't get rid of it, and they can't bring it into the civilian world because they don't accept it. The civilian world does not accept that kind of mentality, that kind of joking. Like a perfect example. So we have a guy that just recently got out of the Marines, and he was a canine handler. And they hired him to be a canine handler. Brand new guy. He's. I'm trying to, like I said, give an example here. So we are at American Airlines for it's like the CEO got this contract for us, so it's a huge deal. We're at American Airlines, their actual like hub, and we go there to do our job. So this guy who's brand new, fresh out the military, um, uh, he was supposed to be there a day before, but his flight got canceled, and we didn't really understand why. So at the end of the whole thing, at the end of the whole entire thing, the CEO was like, "Hey, did you get everything worked out? Like, how'd you get everything worked out with your flight and everything like that?" And like, he's like, "Oh, it all worked out." Um, and he's like, "Oh, what ended up happening with that?" So the CEO asks him this. So mind you, the head of the company is asking him like how it all went down. He's like, "Oh, thing is, like, I had like, so what ended up happening is they had to call the ambulance or the ambulance over and while at the plane because I was passed out and they had to bring what do they call it, the EMTs over to wake me up essentially. And he's like, are you okay? Everything? Yeah, thing is, I had like 6 beers in the fridge that morning, and I didn't want them to go to waste, so I drank all six that morning. Drove to the airport with the dog, mind you, the $15,000 dog. Drove to the
um,
airport, drove to the airport that morning. And by the way, he's no longer with the company anymore. So I'm just saying, if we're talking about this, he drove to the airport, and I passed out drunk, in my seat, and the dog was running back and forth, down the hallways. I didn't like basically let this dog run everywhere in the hallway, and they like were freaking out because this dog is just like off leash everywhere, and he was just completely passed out. They thought he was dead. They thought or something. They thought there's something wrong with him, but no, he was just drunk. And he's saying this to the CEO of the company, and I'm like, and he looks at me because the supervisor there, and he's just like dead staring at him, like what are you doing? He turns to me. He's like, why is Mike mad at me? He's like, well, I thought this is chill scene. We're all military here. And I'm like, dude, you're talking to the CEO, telling him that you're drunk. Like, are you joking right now? Like, you could have came up with any other excuse saying, oh, it was a stupid thing. I just wasn't feeling well, and I was like, you could have said something other than you telling like you drove drunk. You basically told the CEO you drove drunk with the dog to the airport, with their property. I'm like, what are you talking about? But it's the Marine mentality of like, I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
whatever I want and not think of anything else. Oh, we're all cool here, but he's talking to me like we're all like buddy buddy. It's like, no, he's not your buddy. He's being kind to you or nice to you because he's, this isn't your, this isn't your, this
Yeah.
isn't somebody higher up than you. But he's bringing this up, telling our boss this, and it's like, you're an idiot, dude. Like, he got fired like a month later. Like, it was like he just like he just can't transition out. He can't. He like the mentality behind it is just so far gone. He's just saying stupid things like that. It's like, you know, like I don't know what do you do at that point.
You see it all the time. A lot of people have that camaraderie, that misaligned idea of what you go to a civilian company, you think that's your unit.
Yeah, yeah,
You can communicate the same way you once did. And like you said, military, we have a lot of dark humor just because you're talking about 12 to 16-hour shifts sometimes, after guard mount. Um, so you're sitting with the same person for a long period of time. You have to find something that's going to entertain you for that period of time. And a lot of times it's telling stories, messing around with one another.
yeah.
You can't do a lot of the stuff in the civilian
No,
side
you
of things.
can't.
A lot of people, they'll transition out into the civilian sector, and they're going to try to bring that on a 12-hour shift. Maybe it's a nights. Maybe they're destroying some property and they're supposed to be stocking shelves.
Yeah, yeah.
That doesn't work on the civilian
No,
side,
it does
and
not.
some people can't handle that transition, unfortunately. But like you said, a lot of them end up going back into the military, or they'll go to school to kind of give them more time to adapt to the civilian side. I've been very fortunate because the recruiting piece of it really got me closer to the as far as close as I could have been to a civilian type position in
Yeah.
interacting with civilians, as opposed to many are stationed at a base for a full 20 or more, and then that transition is a little bit more difficult.
Okay. And I'm gonna give you some piece of advice though as you get out. I'm gonna say right now though, just so you don't get burned out, going into your new job, the things you did for the military that got you all those awards, that got you everything, don't expect the same outcome with all the work you do. I just want you just to realize that you can probably put a million effort, like a million% effort into your job now, but that doesn't mean you're gonna get the same payout in terms of like awards and things like that. No one, I feel like in the civilian side, you are less recognized because you're more of a like you're a number in the sense of like you're they can easily replace you basically because now they're
Oh yeah.
and so that's just my advice is like I'm not saying don't put your effort into it, but also don't get discouraged if you're not getting the same outcome you got before.
Yeah, I mean, on the recruiting side, they have awards for just about everything. So going into it, it seems like you're going to go into an annual banquet and you're going to come out with 3, 4 awards in hand. You're walking out trying to figure out where you're going to put them all. On the civilian side, there's not a lot of emphasis on that sort of thing,
Yeah,
and I completely understand that piece of it. But it is different style
yeah.
that I have to adapt to. So completely understand it. I'm not used to it, and it will take time. But I'm adaptive. I'm chameleon. I'll make it work.
Okay.
uh, yeah. Let's see here. Are you building something new or protecting comfort? Again, this kind of ties back to the are you growing or staying busy type of mentality. What are your thoughts?
um it's weird on the civilian side because it I feel like it just works so much differently. Like for me, um in certain aspects, like I said, I've grown, but you only can really with mine it's more physical. You see how much you grow based on how your dog performs.
Yeah.
And that's for us it's more physical. You see the physical side of that. So I could literally if you come showing up with me and we're both working the same thing, I can tell almost within 10 minutes whether or not you're going to be a good handler or not. It's like almost within 10 minutes I'm like, oh okay, this guy's a piece of crap, like I just got to put him somewhere else, like where I don't want what I'm seeing. I can literally tell it by just how you handle your dog. That's it is so ours is more physical where I can actually see it. Like your
Yeah.
dog might be amazing in terms of like searching, but I could also tell you're not gonna you don't put a lot of discipline into it. You don't put a lot of like effort into your dog just based on how you handle it. So I will say that it is a little bit more physical on my side. So for me, I think that you get rewarded with more jobs, with more responsibilities, like the way I have been, if your dog can perform well and if you can look presentable and show up to work the correct way. That's just my opinion. So again, it's completely different civilian side. That more effort you put into your dog, I think the more opportunities you're going to get.
Yeah. So, and I agree with that. For me, it's completely building something new. When you're in the military, you can look towards comfort because you're an expert in the area that you're doing. You've
Yeah.
been doing it for 20 plus years. So staying in this comfort zone where you can still excel is usually what people are doing around the 20-year mark. But once you get out, it's for me, I'm in a completely different position than I was in the military. So I'm forced to learn something new, or I'm just not, I'm going to fail to adapt. So for me,
I think you'll
I
be
there's
fine.
no comfort level associated with, not currently. Give me a year or so, and there might be a level of comfort as I become familiar with the position and what it entails. But right now, everything is rebranding, rebuilding myself, but in establishing something or a level of comfort on the civilian side.
Yeah. That's funny.
Um, So we'll head into the last segment here,
Yeah.
just kind of recapping a little bit about the sport side, like things that are going on currently. Have you watched any of the games? I know you've been working a ton, but I wanted to check with you.
Not as much as I have been. This is going to be more of like a your thing, honestly. So I'd rather you just kind of talk about it and I'll kind of comment on what I think. Um, but I have
I'll,
not been able to watch as much as I would like to. I mean, I'm hoping after June, it'll be a little bit easier. Plus, football season is going to be starting here soon. It'll be way more easier for me to watch stuff after June's over. Because I'm gonna keep, I'll be probably I'm gonna be in the newsroom for, or at least the news area for FIFA World Cup. So I'll be getting kind of a few updates there. I think that'd be kind of cool. It's going to be kind of a cool opportunity for me to do. From what I understand, that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'll be able to kind of update a little bit on World Cup a little bit, which would be kind of cool.
yeah,
So, but it hasn't started yet. It starts this next week where we're going to start working down there. So, I'll keep up with that, but I'm going to be working a lot again, and I'm going to have like maybe one day off every week, if that. So it's going to be long, long weeks for me.
it is. Yeah. Well, we'll kind of run through it,
Okay.
and honestly, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be, between both series. So you've got the Thunder and the Spurs series, which the Thunder currently lead 2-1. They had a game last night. The Thunder won 123 to 108.
I'm hoping
Again,
the
Shea
Spurs win.
Gilgis,
I'm hoping the Spurs win. I
I
really want
I
the
do too.
Spurs win.
The Spurs are a gritty team. I like the way that they play. In the Thunder, the product that they push out it's a terrible watch. I cannot stand watching it. We talked about it in a previous segment where there's so much flopping going on.
Yeah.
It's just it's an embarrassment. It's so embarrassing to watch these players go up every single time and just throw themselves down. The Spurs don't do it. I guess they do it a little bit, but OKC is like teaching the league, hey, we can get around away with everything. So we're just going to keep flopping all over the place. It is so embarrassing. It's difficult product to watch. I can't I can't stand it. And you have the same thing on the other side too with the Knicks Cavaliers series. The Knicks are a flopping team too, and they're winning 2-0. So two flopping teams are winning
I
their
just hope that
series.
doesn't become the standard. They got to stop doing that. I feel like there should be penalties if you're going to be like over exact. I mean, you're talking about somebody who's like almost 7 feet tall, falling down like a tree every. Like I feel
Yeah.
like that's so exaggerated. You're not getting hit that hard, dude. No one's getting hit that hard.
What's going to happen is these teams are going to see, okay, well, the two teams that are winning the series now, if they both make it to the championship, the NBA Finals, that shows the whole entire league. Hey, the winning recipe is to flop. So,
Well, get those free
but
points. It's
I
getting the
want,
free points. Like,
yeah, who's if they both make it to the finals, I want to know who's the best flopping team because that's what you're going to be watching, a big freaking flop fest over there in the NBA Finals, OKC versus the Knicks, and I don't want to watch that. Like that's not appealing to me. It's not basketball, so
no.
it's too difficult to watch. I don't know. I'm just really passionate about the flopping thing. I don't like to watch it. I like to watch basketball, like especially the Celtics, but I cannot stand the flopping.
No, I wouldn't be a fan of that either.
And then the ice hockey side, the NHL playoffs. So we're in the semifinals here. We have the Hurricanes versus the Canadians. Um, the Canadians being like a Cinderella team. No one had any idea that they were this good and that they were going to make a run. They actually lead 1-0 against the Hurricanes in the series, that's a surprise.
I'm
Didn't
hoping I was hoping the Hurricanes would beat the Canadians, honestly.
They're the better team on paper at the end of the day. I thought so. I thought it would be a 4-0 sweep by the Hurricanes, but they lost the first game 6-2. So
Wow.
that's pretty convincing.
That's
Yeah,
crazy high for especially for hockey. That's those are some crazy numbers right there.
that is. So on the other side, the two best teams are the Hurricanes and the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah.
The Avalanche are playing the Kings on the other, or not the Kings, um, the LA Night or Las Vegas
Las Vegas
Golden
Knights.
Knights.
Yeah.
Yep, and the Knights have now won 2 games in that series, so they lead 2-0. So
Well, I mean, I never thought the Knights were ever bad. So I mean, it doesn't surprise me. The Knights have always done pretty decent. And we talked about that, I think, in our first segment that they're always been a pretty decent team last 10 years. I don't think they've ever been a terrible team, like at least not prior to like 10 years ago.
I don't think they're a bad team, but the Avalanche were next level. Like you're talking about a
Yeah.
season.
Avalanche has been good.
The Avalanche won 55 games this season. The Golden Knights won 39, and the disparity is skill wise, like top skill players for the Avalanche is way higher than the Knights. That's why I thought, okay, this is going to be close to a series sweep. But in both series, the underdog in each series has all the victories, and it's really surprising right now. So
That'll
this
make for a
could line
fun.
up to
That'll make
be.
for a fun championship, though.
So it's either going to be two powerhouse teams or two underdogs
That'd be
going against
fun.
one another in the. Yeah. So I'm wondering to see if both of the more skilled teams come out on top and they can pull it back within reason, or if they just could succumb to whatever style of play that they're playing and the underdogs end up winning the series.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I want to
But
keep
yeah,
up with that. I got to keep up with that, especially the last games. I gotta keep up with that.
that's essentially what's going on with the NBA finals and the NHL or semifinals on both sides. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, but right now it's a little bit of a surprise for me,
Yeah.
anyways. Yeah, so that's all that I had on this. Did you have anything else that you wanted to cover?
No, I mean, for the most part, I mean, we kind of went over everything we wanted to go over. I mean, I know you're trying to end it a little bit quicker here, so I'm not going to keep us too long. We could go over everything else that we have. I like doing quick fire questions. So if you have any,
Okay.
like, if you have any quick fire questions you want to ask, or if you want to, is there anything that you want me to ask you specifically? I think I might have some here. Hold on, let me, because I thought I sent you one. I
I can
can't.
jump through some rapid fires
Yeah,
if you're up for it.
let's do quick rapid fire questions. I like those. Those I think those do a lot better than you think. You know what I mean? Like we'll go through them real quick and let's ask some rapid fire questions and see what we come up
Yeah.
with.
Yeah. So this is what is more dangerous and why? Burnout or complacency?
Shoot, this is rapid fire too. Uh Burnout.
Why?
I feel like once burnout happens, you pretty much give up. Like complacency, you're not necessarily giving up. You're just maintaining. It just becomes maintaining. I feel like burnout's giving up. I feel like you're just like done with everything. So that's gonna be my thing. What about you?
I agree.
Okay.
Burnout, 100%. That is something that you can't get back once it's there. I guess maybe with
With a
enough time
break
off, but
or
it's so
yeah.
easy to fall back.
Yeah.
But like complacency can be trained out of somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, burnout 100% is more dangerous. Loyalty or ambition?
See, I'm my first thing is I'm more big on loyalty than I am with anything else. I just think that but a lot of people don't follow that same structure anymore. So that's I'm more bigger on loyalty than anything else.
Well, I think in terms of what's more dangerous and why,
Oh, what's more
um,
dangerous?
yeah, for all of these, it's
Ambition,
what's
I
more
think is
dangerous.
I think ambition's more dangerous.
So I can see both ways. You can go both ways. I think ambition can be more dangerous just because you never know. There's a level of unexpected behavior associated with ambition.
Yeah.
Like you don't know when it's coming. A hard charger, you don't know what's going to happen with that. With loyalty, at least you have consistency with that,
Yeah.
and it's predictable. So I would say ambition's more dangerous.
Yeah.
Stability or risk?
I mean, my first guess is to say risk, but I don't know. Stability, I think that you don't get anywhere with stability. I think risk is, I feel like stability is probably the more dangerous thing because stability, if something changes in your life where you have to adjust, I feel like a lot of people aren't able to change their behaviors in trying to adjust to that risk. You're constantly putting yourself in a position where you're going to be stressed out. That's how you get ahead, I feel like, with risk. And I feel like risk is the better one of the two. So I'd say stability is the more dangerous on a team.
Yeah. So I think with stability, um, that we talked about earlier. Like if you fall and you become very complacent and you're not growing, you're going to become outdated in a sense. With risk, there is a lot of associated risk or dangerous possibilities that are associated with taking risks, but you're going to continually grow from it. So you might have some immediate impact, dangerous moments, but all in all, long term, you're going to grow from that.
Yeah.
Stability, you're talking about short in the short term, less dangerous. Long term, more dangerous.
Yeah.
Now, what's more dangerous, potential or consistency?
I feel like kind of it's the same thing. I mean, potential, I think, again, consistency is the more dangerous thing because I think potential gives the ability for risk. I still think that there's risk involved in potential because you think that this person can potentially bring you something more. So there's risk involved. So I think
Are you are you going to hire somebody? You see them on paper. You have someone who's super consistent, been doing the same thing for years, or are you going to go with the guy that's showing a ton of potential?
more potential. The thing is, like, if that person that's always consistent, yeah, they're gonna always be there, but it's like they're gonna be my person that I know that isn't gonna try to do more or less. They're just gonna be the same. Like, and you don't expect anything from that person. I would like to, if I were to hire someone, I would like the ability to hopefully get the potential of someone to do more than what what you know what's expected. I guess so. That's just me. I don't know. Maybe it's different for you, but I do
It
like
is.
you
It
like
is.
consistency.
I disagree. I'll take consistency because I know if I'm hiring for a position, I know what I'm going to get at this person, and I need you to do at the average amount. Be a part of the team, hit your area, and we'll be good. With the potential, yeah, there's a lot of upside there, but what if it doesn't hit the upside and it goes the other way?
Yeah, yeah,
Now
that's
I've
true.
just spent a lot of time training, a lot of money into investing in this person. Yeah, the payoff could be a lot higher, but it could go the other way too. So in a situation where I have to hire someone, I'm going to go with the guy that's consistent 100% of the time, just because I know what I'm getting, and I need this to fill this role right
Fair
now.
enough. Fair enough. I disagree, but fair
Uh,
enough.
yeah, no, that's fine. Uh, now, what do you prefer in sports, dynasties or a Cinderella run?
Man, so I love dynasties if it's my teams. I don't like it if it's not my teams. I prefer still the Cinderella run. So because
Yeah,
it's so
I'm the same way.
like when I'm sitting there like watching Matthew Stafford, like if my team's already out, if I see Matthew Stafford almost getting like like, and obviously I'm not like a huge Matthew Stafford fan, but he's been in the league so long, and I feel like he's really like he's just gotten so much better. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't know. For me, I like seeing stuff like that, but that's just me. I'm big on the Cinderella story if it's not my team.
So I'm the same way. I love dynasties, especially if it's my team. But at the end of the day, this reminds me of the USA beating the Russians in the Olympics. Forever the Russians were unbeatable,
Yeah,
and people really liked that dynasty, but especially if they're fans of that specific team.
yeah.
But I think regardless if there's a team out there, I can't help but root for them, even if they're not my team, like Montreal against the Hurricanes. I'm kind of falling in love with these guys
Yeah.
because they're not expected to win, and I
I'm
like the
never gonna go for
Cinderella
a
story
Cannon team. I'm
associated with
sorry,
it.
I'm just never gonna go for a Cannon team.
No,
Ever.
I get that
Ever.
piece of it.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. I'm enjoying it just because it was unexpected. It gets the emotions intertwined with the game itself. So I like the Cinderella aspect more than the dynasty piece, unless, like I said, it is the Patriots or if it's my specific team for sure.
That's
Um, what is the hardest championship to win in sports? So you have the Super Bowl, the NBA Finals, the NHL Stanley Cup. What am I leaving out here? Baseball, World Series.
World Series. There's so many more teams, I think, than any other. I'm pretty sure they even outbeat the hockey teams. I think baseball has the most teams in a league, I believe. I could be wrong. It's got to be between hockey and baseball though, because there's only 32 teams in football, I think, or 35 teams in football, something like that. And then there's only for basketball, there's not very many as well. I think baseball is probably, and not in terms of like hardness, in terms of like athleticism, but hardness in terms of like there's so many teams, so many days that you're playing. You know what I mean? You're playing like weeks straight. You know what I mean? Just to win. I think that honestly, baseball is just it's so like I feel like I can like for instance, I feel like my odds in betting like for the Patriots are a lot higher than betting for the Dodgers. Not saying like like or even if I was like an Oakland A's fan, like I just like and let's just say that I don't know. I feel like even if they picked really well, they did really well in terms of like picking up some of the best players, right? If I'd rather bet on a team of 32 than bet on a team of like 50. You know what I mean? Like I just it just way too the odds are just so so I would say baseball. I would say baseball. Obviously, it becomes a little harder when you have the best players in the entire league. Obviously, you know, there's that, but
That's the thing. That's the thing is with baseball, it's all about what your team ownership is willing to spend. And if you have an ownership group like the Dodgers that's willing to spend, I think that becomes the easiest championship to win because the Dodgers are spending well over every other team. And some of these small market teams, they're not even comparable to teams like the Dodgers or the Red Sox or the Yankees. So you're already eliminating 50% of the field just because they
I don't
can't
know.
match.
I feel like with football though, it's so up in the air because I didn't think that the Patriots were going to do as well as they did last year. I just didn't, and I didn't think. I mean, Seahawks obviously were a pretty stacked team as it was, but like at the same time, there could have been other teams I would have thought would have gone before the Patriots. I didn't think. I thought Patriots were the underdog, honestly, in that whole entire thing. I had a feeling that I thought the Seahawks would win. I knew for a fact the Seahawks were going to win. So like with Patriots, I didn't like I thought that was more not underdog because they're not really considered underdogs, I guess, but I think they were considered the underdogs in that particular game, I believe.
It kind of speaks to the point. NFL could be one of the more difficult team or
I guess.
difficult championships to win because you never know who's going to win it. At the end of the day, everyone's on a salary cap, everyone's restricted and have to maneuver around that, and you can't spend over it. So everyone has the same parameters and
Yeah,
skill sets.
but even Shohei Otani hasn't hit as many home runs as he did the years prior. Obviously that's there's apparently he's down a lot more than he was prior, previous years. So I feel like that can change as well. I mean, you're not going to always get, the same output on all these players as time goes on. So I don't know. I feel like it's a little different. I just feel like there's just so many more teams, but maybe that's just I don't know. What does everybody else think? I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe Elvin's wrong. I do feel like it is just a little bit more of an upset with baseball to me because you can just get one team that just happens to overperform and then they just end up going, like I don't know, there's a lot I feel like there's been lots of years where I never thought that like certain teams would make it to the Super Bowl and they do. Um
Yeah.
so I feel like that it's more of an up in the air thing. So I don't know, maybe I don't know. It's hard to say. That one's a hard one.
I
That one's a
lean
hard one.
I lean NHL to be honest with you, just because the playoff hockey is so much more physical. They let so many things go during that time frame.
Maybe.
So, and you're talking about such a physical game, and they're playing every other day roughly. And to go out and be at your best when you're banged up every other day, that's a challenge. And you're talking
Yeah, but they're
some really good skill
ice skating.
players. Whatever, whatever.
I'm just kidding.
I think the NHL is the
I'm
toughest
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
championship.
kidding. I'm kidding. That's so funny. Whatever. I'm just kidding.
Whatever. Um, Next one, vocal or quiet leader?
Vocal. Vocal.
I
Um,
like leading by example.
that's not the option.
Well, that's quiet.
You think that vocal is better than quiet?
I do not think vocal is better than quiet because how many leaders have we
Oh
had
wait, we're
out there
doing
that
what
yells
we
at
think is
everybody?
worse, right? We're doing what we think is worse.
Oh, what do you think is more effective?
Vocal.
See, I disagree.
Okay,
I think
can I give you an
something.
example?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So when we were told to be put static posts, Stratton wrote the attorney general and got that changed because he was vocal about it. He was vocal about it like he thought it was a dumb idea, all the way up to the point where he wrote the attorney general and got things changed. When we had to get when I told that story about when I had a supervisor, and I'm not going to mention any names, um, who didn't speak up and who just went with the flow because he was a quiet supervisor. We got stuck doing something we shouldn't have done because we were told months and months prior that, hey, if this is going on, if you guys just got off a shift, you guys have to run the risk of crashing or something bad happening. We're not going to put you on post if you're coming off working a 12-hour shift. He didn't say anything. I did. I was vocal about it. The only ever times that when we got out of things, or even with work or anything else, like when you're starting to deal with the civilian world as well, union work, we got tasked to sit there and there was a situation where they were going to force every single person in the company to um, do this stupid 40 hours of computer based training. 40 hours. And it's like legit 40 hours, not like oh, I could skip through this really fast. No,
Yeah.
40 hours because it's going to time you and you have to get the 40 hours in. It's like structured to be very slow pace and it's to run x-ray machines, to learn x-ray machines. Had I not spoke up and made it into a point to sit there and be like, hey, you know what, like that's fine if you're going to force us to do this, but I want it in writing so I can send it up to the lawyers to for the union so they can approve this. Magically it went away. So for people that want to sit there and work at these spots and want consistent hours, they have to do it, not the people that aren't even going to work it a day in their life. There's just
Mm.
it's to me, I feel like the more vocal you are, especially with stupid things, I think I feel like that type of leadership is the only type of leadership I ever saw that was the most effective with speaking up and doing the right thing. Matter of fact, Sergeant Vaughn, a perfect example. They were gonna. I don't remember what happened. I remember being in the office. It was like my first day, and they were talking about making us work so many days straight, and there was a huge argument between him and a captain. They were both like cursing at each other type thing. He's a tech sergeant. I It got us out of it. Like as much as I like, and he had a lot of respect because he was, tech sergeant Vaughn. He was awesome, awesome flight chief. Um, but again, I've only seen the vocal side of things actually become effective if you just take it and just be like, okay, well, let's just guys, we're just gonna go ahead and do this. We're gonna just do the right thing and just do what our you not questioning anything is what I think gets you hated, gets you in more trouble, and gets you less respected by your peers. That's just me personally. I like anytime I've ever effectively gotten something changed or done, it's because I said something and spoke out about it, not because I stayed quiet and just shown like, oh guys, we're just gonna take it and I'm gonna lead by example by doing whatever they say without question. I think that's a very, very militant perspective. And I think it's okay for the military in certain aspects, but I have so many more examples I could give you that show. I mean, anybody that disagrees with me, I mean, please say something. You know what I mean? I would like to get everybody's input on this, but I again, I don't think, I don't think that you not speaking up or not being a vocal leader ever helps you, or like being a quiet leader ever helps you. I just don't. I've never seen that be an effective way of doing things, and I think it's good to lead by
So
example, but at the same time, being vocal, I think, is extremely important to keep your guys from doing anything.
all
So.
valid points. I actually changed my perspective on it as well. Honestly, when I think of vocal, I'm more concerned about the abuse of being like just screaming at people to scream
Oh,
at
okay.
people.
That's okay. Never
That's what
mind.
I'm
Never mind.
thinking of.
Okay. Okay.
If
Maybe
it's vocal to get things done because you're speaking up, yeah, I completely agree with you.
that's the
That type
type
of
of
leadership is
leader I
yeah,
would say I am right now. A vocal leader in the sense of like trying to protect everybody else. You know what I mean? Like
yes,
that's how I looked at it, I guess. Maybe I guess anybody could kind of give their own spin on it. I mean, if we're turned in terms of yelling at everybody, no, I don't do anything like that. No, I just speak to everybody normal. But no,
yeah.
sorry, maybe I misunderstood the
No,
question, I guess.
no, no. It can be interpreted so many different
Yeah.
ways, and if you interpret it that way, I agree with you. If
Yeah.
that's the perspective.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right.
Um, who are the toughest athletes in sports? What would you say? I bet you're going to say basketball.
Football. Or football or hockey. I have to give it to football or hockey. I think they're the more two physical teams. Baseball and basketball, I don't think is there's physicality, but we're not talking about like 90s basketball. We're talking about like now basketball. And I don't think
Yeah,
it's the same. It's not the same. Football, in terms of like here's why I'm kind of leaning towards football more is because if you're a 5'8" running back that's just or fullback that's running through and you're trying to, go through a 300-pound, 400-pound dude, I mean, like offensive lineman or defensive lineman, you're getting pretty much crushed. You know what I mean? You have to be able to handle a lot of physicality has to go into it in terms of that sense of things. And then you're getting dogpiled by everybody else. So you have like a couple thousand pounds on top of you if you're, you know what I mean? And you're getting hit with a lot of force, probably even more force than hockey, because some guys are running like, I don't know if you've seen some of the worst hits in NFL. I've seen some pretty bad hits in hockey because I always watch highlights sometimes of hockey or, but I'd say the worst hits I've ever seen where people have actually like been out the sport for the rest of their lives are football. Like that's just I feel like it's the most unrewarding in that sense that you could literally just get a concussion or you could get hit so hard you're out for the rest of the season or out for the rest of
and so
your
I lean hockey, and
oh
here's
goodness.
why I lean hockey. I think when you're on skates, you can go so much faster and hit someone so much harder than in. I know that the size differences in football, usually guys are a lot, more physically equipped to handle that. So like
Okay.
big muscled up, and they can hit a lot harder, but they're also more cushion, I guess, because you're
Okay.
you're bigger.
Can I present something to you
Yeah,
then?
yeah.
Okay, so who would you say would be a hard hitter in hockey? Like just that you wouldn't want to get run into.
Like Eric Lindros back in the day,
Okay.
like this guy used to crush everybody.
Okay,
Or
so
Xander
who
Kane.
would you rather be hit by? Ray Lewis or him? So
I would rather not get hit by either of them.
so what I'm saying
But
is in terms of like, or even Palomalu. Okay, so you have Palomalu where he's at, and you're a wide receiver. Who would you rather be like? Would you rather get hit hard in hockey by one person, or would you rather get hit hard by Palomalu as a defensive player? Yeah, I feel like Palomalu is going to like literally knock you out. Like there's just literally the physical. You have two people colliding into each other, which on both sets of things. Normally, I feel like hockey is more like you're running alongside of people and you get hit like that. I don't really ever see it one on one, like direct force, boom, like that.
oh
Here
yeah, it happens.
I'm sure it
Open ice hits.
happens, but I think it happens more in football than anywhere else. Like I just
It happens more frequently in football, yes. But I also think that the size difference is comparable in either sport. So like the
no
physicality piece of it,
way.
like what I'm saying is hockey players hitting other hockey players, they're the same size. Football players hitting other football players are the same size, roughly. Like cornerbacks have to be tall and thin to keep up with wide receivers that are tall and thin. Am I am I incorrect in that?
Correct. But
Okay.
sometimes that doesn't matter depending on who your center is in defense. So, you could have a guy that, if you think about it, like again, you're talking about Ray Lewis. That guy, what, Baltimore Ravens, um, massive dude. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I I I wouldn't want to get hit by that guy. I'd rather get hit by a hockey player than get hit by him. Dude, that guy's
All right.
massive, dude. Imagine being Wes Welker
So
getting hit by that dude. There's no way you could get laid out, dude. Like I've seen people run into people like that and just completely fall back, and that person's just like kind of standing over them. Like you know what I mean? Like it.
it's tough for me to move past a couple of points here. The couple of points that I think about is I've seen guys get hit in the mouth and lose teeth and continue to play. I've seen a guy get hit with a slap shot that's going 105 miles per hour and put a cage on and continue to play. I saw a guy in ice hockey die on the bench, went back out for his next shift. He was resuscitated, went back out. He was eventually pulled and he got, toughness on that side. The guy died.
Okay.
He died.
So we're talking about toughness and or mentally and physically. What I'm trying to say is that with there's not like people getting hit in the mouths. People are when they get hit, they're getting concussions, they're breaking their legs, they're tearing their ankles, they're tearing their ligaments. You know what I mean? Like I feel like with the amount of power and amount of heaviness and physicality in football, you're literally losing. you're doing season-ending injuries, not like getting hit in the mouth. Yes, I get it. Like you get hit in the mouth. Yes, that sucks. But technically, you could still play because there's nothing ripped. Like there's nothing keeping my leg. That's like when my that tear. That's literally like your entire hamstring gone. You know what I mean? Completely ripped off. You know what I mean? That keeps you. You can't play like that. There's no way you could play like that or a
But
broken ankle.
that's
I
yeah. So
I don't I
so
don't
you
know.
can't
I don't
play on
know.
a broken ankle. But Patrice Bergeron had broken ribs during the playoffs, a couple of years ago, and he continued to play the entire series with broken ribs. Take a hit with some broken ribs, and let me know how that feels. That's freaking toughness right
Again,
there.
please comment whether you think which is worse. I would like to know.
Football,
Let's settle this. Football or hockey?
football.
What do you
There
think
you go.
is the more physically and mentally tougher sport of the two?
Well, who is the
Please.
toughest athletes in those
Okay.
two sports?
Yes. All right. We'll do that.
I'm interested to see what people say. Um, More pressure playing in New York for any of the sports teams or Canada.
I think when you're away from the United States in general, I think it's going to be harder to play. I know that New York, I think it's pretty hard to deal with like the teams there. But personally, if I played anywhere stateside, at least I know that it's America. You're still in America. I just think that when you're in
Oh,
Canada, I just think it'd be so much harder.
no, what I mean is, playing as, say, a Canadian for a Canadian ice hockey team, the pressure of playing for a Canadian team representing Canada or
Oh,
representing a New
yeah.
York
Never
team.
mind. New York. I think it'd be way harder to come here from Canada to play. I just think it'd be way harder for Canadians to play in the United States anywhere. I don't. It's we have so little respect for Canadians, and I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like America has such little respect for them just because of all their everything about them. You know what I mean? So I don't, and I'm not even trying to speak for everyone, but I'm saying like I just don't think it's ever a good thing for Canadians to come here and play any sport. Like it's just
I think it's tough because when it came to like the Olympics, USA has a lot of expectations, but Canada has such a high expectations of, say, just the ice hockey team. The
well, they
expectation for
just lost. Did
Canada.
they lose to the United States?
Exactly. The pressure associated with Canada having to win the Olympics in ice hockey specifically every single year is so high that without winning, there's so much disappointment for Canadians because they are known to be an ice hockey country. So at the end of the day, there's a ton of pressure. But with New York, you play for the Yankees. The expectation is they're going to win everything all the time. I know it's kind of dissipated over years and it's kind of gone to the Dodgers and all that. But I think specific, if I'm talking about the Olympics in ice hockey, playing as a Canadian, there's so much pressure associated with it.
I guess. I guess to me, I'm like, you guys lose every other thing, and you like they hold on to ice hockey. I think it's like I
That's
at
what
that
I'm
point,
saying.
it's like
There's so much.
you're gonna lose that eventually too. I mean, like if you guys can't compete in every other sport with everything else, and at least stay like winning gold as much as we can, there's no way you're gonna win with hockey eventually as well every time. I don't I would see that as a diminishing thing anyways because the second we perfect the sport, they're no longer going to win anymore. And just like proving my point this last year, they lost. So I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna I just don't think they're gonna be the number one just because they live. It'd be like I mean, if Russia started competing, maybe they had a chance too. I mean, if you think about it, they're in snow 24/7. You know what I mean? Like in certain areas, they're in snow all the time. Just like Canada. But like I feel like if Russia got in the mix, I feel like even Russia would eventually beat Canada too. Like I just don't see them. I don't look at them as a huge threat in any sport
yeah,
personally.
I gotcha. Last one I have here is what's more dangerous in sports? A hot goalie, an elite quarterback, a superstar scorer, or a dominant closer?
I'm not a big fan of hot goalies because Germany and Brazil, when they played against each other in World Cup, they had the number one goalie, and just Brazil's offense was just so overwhelming for him, and he couldn't. They won. Obviously, Brazil won against Germany. So I wouldn't want. It's great to have a great goalie, but if you don't have a rest of the team to support the goalie, it's just like having a great defense with no offense. It's like there's. I don't really see a point to that. I'd rather have an elite QB personally. Elite QB. I mean, a superstar scorer. Either elite QB or superstar scorer. a dominant closer. I mean, I don't. I that that means that it's not always gonna. I feel like that's not as consistent as an elite QB or superstar scorer. If I had Wayne Gretzky on my team, I'd I'd be a happy person. That's a dominant score, or that's a superstar score. If I had Tom Brady as a QB, there's a good chance I'm going to win a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, and Tampa Bay proving my point. Wayne Gretzky having the most goals ever, I think proves my point in the sense that like I think that's going to be probably where I would lean closer towards. But I mean, in reality, the best goalie does not matter because again, you can have the best goalie and still get scored on if you're going against a really good offense. You could be the best goalie in the world, doesn't matter if your offense can't keep up or at least just outscore their scoring. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to win. You're not going to win. It's just
So you're thinking it on the like the scoring, or not the scoring, the goalie piece in terms of soccer. I
soccer
don't
and
think of it in
hockey.
terms. So I think of hockey specifically. So I ruled out dominant closer just like you did, just because you got to get to the point where you need a closer to the ninth inning. So there are 8 innings. If you have no offense, the dominant closer doesn't matter. So you're talking 1 inning. Yeah, if you get to that point, fantastic. But at the end of the day, you need so much more to get to that point. So I rolled that out. The superstar scorer, there's so many scenarios where I've seen the best player, like the Edmonton Oilers had the best scorer on their team, and they were eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. So you can double team, you can take an elite score out of the game with just solid defense.
Yeah.
Um, so I eliminated that one. I was torn between the hot goalie and the elite QB, and here's why. The Montreal Canadiens have an elite goalie right now, and I've seen goalies take 40 shots, save 40 shots a game, and the team will win 1-0. So go to a goalie can steal a game or two in a series, but ultimately I have to go with an elite quarterback. And here's the reason why I say that is I've seen Tom Brady with mediocre teams, and he'd take them to the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl just with a mediocre team because he was an elite quarterback. I've seen Josh Allen perform or Patrick Mahomes perform with an underwhelming team. If you have an elite quarterback, you're always in contention to win a championship, in my opinion. So I have to go with the elite quarterback. That's the most dangerous thing.
Well, here's why I say superstar score. Let's not just relate it to Wayne Gretzky, but let's relate it to Michael Jordan or even LeBron James or Kobe Bryant. You're talking about multiple championships with each of those elite scores. Even Steph Curry, the Golden State Warriors. You have superstar scorer again that makes threes like crazy that scores consistently each game. To me, I feel like I'm torn between elite QB or superstar scorer because, like you said, I agree with you on the elite QB side of things. I think that you could easily, again, if Tom Brady got put on any team, I'm sure he could literally up the value of every single because he knows how to pick apart a team. He knows he's really you could tell he reads the teams really well, and it's easy for him to dissect where he wants to throw the ball as long as someone's open. So to me, I hate talking so nicely about Tom Brady as it is. So it's like
I love it.
but I'm being realistic here. But I mean, again, you have Larry Bird, you have Magic Johnson, you have all these other play people that Larry Bird was with the Celtics as well. So I
Yep.
mean, you have a team that's constantly winning with these specific players, and I feel like it didn't really matter who. Like, yeah, it helps who they surround themselves with, but it didn't really matter. I feel like Michael Jordan technically probably could have done it. I don't think he should have taken a break. I think him going to was it to the Magic? Was it the Magic or Wizards? Was it Wizards? Wizards? Magic?
Well, he went to baseball first, but he eventually went. You're talking about Jordan. He went to
Yeah,
the Wizards at the
Wizards.
very end. Yeah.
And so I felt like that was a little different because he took such a huge hiatus. I think if he would
Yeah.
I think if he would have went from the Bulls to the Wizards, I don't think it would have changed much. From I think him taking a break is what hurt him the most. I just think that was kind of a fluke. But I mean, like I don't know, man. I mean, Kobe Bryant on any team, you don't think that he's going to up the value of them just in general. I think his presence and work ethic alone will bring his team to perform better. It's just like Tom Brady going to, and again, this is why I'm torn between the two. Tom Brady going to Tampa Bay. I mean, I think he proved himself by literally going to, I never thought they'd ever be Super Bowl contenders, by the way. Never in a million.
Okay.
I felt like the Cowboys would have won before Tampa Bay ever would have. I mean, I just, I'm not a big fan of Tampa Bay. I've never been a big fan of Tampa Bay. I mean, they've had Mike Evans, I think, too. They had Mike Evans on their team at one point, too. And that was, I think, the year that Tom Brady was I think they had them during Tom Brady's era. But I mean, like, I never thought they were going to be that team. And with an elite QB, you got put on there. I would say, I don't know. I'm torn between. I'm still torn between superstar scorer and QB because I do think it matters who's on your team and what value they
So
bring.
something to consider for the elite scorer piece of it. You mentioned Jordan. He had Pippen. He
Yeah.
had Dennis Rodman. Those are two really great players. And then you talked about Kobe. Kobe had Shaquille O'Neal, and Shaquille O'Neal was one of the best centers in the game. So you had LeBron. LeBron had Dwayne Wade during his championship run.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
talking about multiple elite players on these teams that made championship runs. So it's very difficult to say, hey, yeah, I have an elite score, but there's other pieces in there that you have to consider.
I'll go with
Like
the league
elite,
QB. I'll go with the league QB. I would go with the league QB. I think that was.
yes,
I'll go with the league QB. I just
yeah,
think they're rare.
fantastic.
They're rare. They're rare. They are rare. I think it's just so hard to get someone that's that good. I mean, you're seeing some potential now, but I mean, like, it is hard to get like that a top five QB right now.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
But
So
once you do, you're in contention. It's a game changer,
yeah.
100%. So yeah, that's all the quick questions that I've got. Did you have anything else that you wanted to cover?
No, I mean, I thought that was a pretty good. I thought those were good. Good questions. We have a lot of other stuff that we could cover. I think that, we'll call it here because I know it's getting a little late for you. But I think that was overall a really good segment. So, but we have some other stuff we'll talk about next week. And also we do want you to comment on the football and hockey thing. We really want to get everybody's opinion on that. So anybody that's subscribed, please just write what your opinion is. We would like to respond to it because I think I'm right. He thinks he's right. So I want to see what the majority thinks if they think that hockey is just a more mentally and physical sport than football is, which is insane. I'm not saying that hockey is not a physical. I think it's way more physical than any other sport that's out there. I just think it's second to football.
I'd be interested to see what the general populace thinks about it. Then there's a couple other questions that we posted out there, to get some opinions kind of going. I'm interested to see what people have to say about the different topics that we had covered. So, throw your opinion out there. If you have additional questions that you want us to talk about, would love to hear about that as
Yes,
well.
yes. Please put questions in. We would love to hear from you guys. Again, congratulations, man. We got to 100 subscribers on YouTube, so it's pretty cool. Hope to have that grow continuously, and hope that it gets better. Anything you want to add?
No, I look forward to next week and diving further into updates with the NHL and NBA playoffs. And then obviously, I have my packs of cards sitting here. Hopefully, we have better luck next
Oh my
week.
gosh, yeah.
We'll see.
All right, buddy. Well, appreciate it, and we will see you guys next week.